No.
And now, the starting lineup for your Gotham City Crusaders. A 5'10 center from Iceberg University, Oswald Cobblepot. A
He's
5'11
5'10".
forward from Gotham City University, James Gordon. A 5'11 forward from Q University,
The whole lineup.
Edward Nashton. A 5'2 guard from Burglar State, Selena Kyle. And the man in the middle from Yale University, a 6'1 guard, Bruce Wayne. The Gotham City Crusaders are coached by Matthew Reeves, your first place team in the Eastern Division.
I have something to say. There's no way that the Penguin's 5'10".
Yeah, come on, man.
Because it's taller than me.
Everything
no
was
chance.
Perfect. Everything was perfect.
Everything was perfect, but that 7 out of 10, Zeddy. 7 out of 10.
We needed that music. It would have been cool. The Alan Parsons Eye in the Sky.
Legendary.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, as always, welcome to the Vigilante 1939 podcast. We are back with The Batman Tailgate, our third tailgate. The Batman is here. It is no longer coming. It is here, just a mere days away. That's unbelievable. I can't believe it. And we got a nice crew here. We're going to hype up the movie here, and we're just going to have some fun, man. So if you're watching, grab a beverage of choice, hang out in the comment section, and let's have some fun, man. Solo Batman movie. We're coming here. So Caruso's, kicks one off, man. How you guys feeling? Let's open some people in.
I feel
here.
great. It feels like it took forever for this time to get here. And now that we're just days away, it's absolutely incredible. And, you know, I don't know that I've ever gone into a movie like just expecting it to be incredible. This is probably the most positive I've ever been, like feeling pretty sure of myself that I'm really going to love this movie.
Yeah, man, it's a long time coming. Just like a quick little anecdote. It was like our second episode ever back in January 2019. So a little like 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, we did an episode where Affleck was on Kimmel and stepped down, and then we talked about the changing of the guard. Then later Rob Pattinson gets cast. We got the shirts from Let's Go that say is it Pattinson or Battinson on it?
Either or.
It's Battinson, and we took a photo where we like changed the sweatshirts from like the Affleck logo. So it's cool. So when this movie got announced, we were just starting on a phone in an office, and now we got all these pals we're gonna have on a show 3 years and a couple months later. High tech. No cyborg problems here.
No.
Adam a little bit when it started off now. Hashtag Borg life. Right. So Zeddy, why don't you start just bringing in people? Let's go right away.
Let's do it. Yeah, we're obviously going to talk about the journey here, and it's coincidence that we have. We're talking about a Batman movie, right? And we just so happen to have the goddamn Batman with us.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
Oh, I'm happy to be here, man. Representing the Nerd Room podcast. We got to get these shirts back in the store for everybody, but you know what? They're a coveted item because you got to be a goddamn Batman OG to own one of these things. So yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here and stoked to talk to Batman on the Batman Eve, which is weird because it feels like it's just been a concept that's just been there.
Yeah.
Just been something everlasting, eternal for a long time now. So and even kind of going dark on trailers and whatnot, it seems like it's been even longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're so right, because the trailer was like over a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
the very first trailer.
Yeah,
it's weird to get something like that and then wait for the movie, but it's here.
Yeah, and the last one I watched was the Fandom one from this year.
Oh, you missed the Band the Cat. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched anything.
I respect that.
Yeah.
The closest I've come to seeing sexy Selena is Troy showing up at my door to drop her.
That's legendary.
That's nice. Well, real quick here before we bring some more people on, I do want to throw a disclaimer to anybody that's watching, because Carlos made a great point here. We're not going to openly talk about spoilers, as I know there are people that are avoiding trailers, so we're not going to break down any specific scenes that might be spoiler related. This is just going to be just hypes, hopes, and expectations, and we're just going to have some fun, man. So if you're watching, we're not going to spoil anything for you. We're going to respect that, and we're just going to have some fun. So All right, here. Let's I'm looking at a nice little double oval here on
There
my
it is.
screen. Well, you guys can't see, but I can see, and I think we should bring this lovely lady on here. We got Lauren from the Simply
Look at
Amazing
the
Pod.
shades.
What's
What's
up,
up?
Lauren?
I'm loving the double oval and the shade. Shades
Thank
double-
you. I wanted to have yellow shades, but I bought myself the red pair, not the yellow pair.
Well, red kind of goes. You're kind of in the ballpark. So
Okay.
good enough.
I'll take the
That's
match with
right.
you.
Yeah,
Can
right?
you share
Yeah.
matching?
Elite. How you feeling
Right.
about the movie and everything?
I'm excited, but I'm kind of with Carlos. Like it doesn't feel real. Like and I'm not the biggest like Batman stan or anything, but I think this is probably going to be one of the most positive changes for the
Mhm.
Batman as a character in popular culture. I think it's going to make a world of difference in a good way.
With Rob Pattinson, it's hard not to. It's hard not to do that. I'm sure he's going to capture a lot of love.
And to think everybody like hated him at first. Everybody's like, the Twilight guy's going to be Batman.
Now he's
And like
badass.
now, yeah, he's not only Batman, he's playing like alongside Zoey Kravitz is like Catwoman. Like he got that. Like good for him.
Yeah. W, massive dub all
Yes,
around.
That
dub.
is-
Yeah,
is
emphasis
a
on the
nice-
he got that because
Right.
we know. It's no different than Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. My wife, I
Oh,
think, is
man.
watching. You know that happened. You know
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yes.
I don't believe that worth a second.
no, that chemistry doesn't happen by accident. And if you've seen her old man, you're going to be riding the pine.
I don't know, guys. It's like a fanfic here. Zoe and Robert are just best friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Best friends on the
I'm sure
Batmobile,
those
too.
Batmobile scenes were pretty fun, if you ask me.
All right, Zed, let's keep it rolling.
All right. Well, obviously, if you hashtag the movie on Twitter, you might get some attention. And I know a gentleman that particularly loves hashtags, and that is Adam Bastiano. How you doing, brother?
Hi guys, it's good to be back with you again, all of you. I've seen the two up front, actually the three of you recently because you came on my shows. So
That's right.
it's a reunion, and it's good to be with Lauren again. And I think this is the first time that was Carlos here last time for the Spider-Man one. I can't remember. He was here last
No, this is the first time for us. Just
Okay, yeah.
we've met like ships in the night in the DM and the
yeah.
and the tweet streets, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's okay. There it is. Yeah, but
It sounds romantic.
yeah, I want to know when can we tweet this movie as a global phenomenon? That's what
I was just going to bring up a global phenomenon.
When is it safe to do that? Because
He said it first. He said it first.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to throw that out there. Like it should have its own little logo. Like a global phenomenon should have a special logo.
Oh, it'll be on a billboard.
You know, there's one with the goat now that everybody's getting all excited over. It's like okay, but yeah. Speaking of excited, I'll tell you what. I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah.
I give me anything Batman. Like Nikko's excitement for Spider-Man No Way Home is where I'm at now with Batman.
Oh,
Batman's my guy. And
that's
so,
pretty high.
and
I
you
hear
know,
ya.
Quite
so
large
Oh,
level of excitement.
that
I'm
is-
over I'm ready. And it's like
Oh,
it's
boy.
been 5 years since Matt Reeves got the job. It's like let's go. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready
So
to see
wait,
this thing.
Is your little excitement like Nico's when he found out Kristen Stewart got the nomination?
Oh, yeah. How is it that one?
Jump for
The
The
That
high
was-
knees.
high knees.
right here.
That was probably for I got to be honest with you. I was probably there for that first fandom trailer, the one with 25% of the footage shot.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I was like, holy crap! They did that with 25% of the footage. What's the rest of this thing gonna look like? So that's where I was. And back then, we hadn't seen anything yet. So
Yeah.
I was probably there. And then when I see the movie, I'll let you know if that happens again. But I'll probably be there once I'm seeing the movie. Yeah.
heck yeah, man.
Nice. All right. Well, let's move along here. Let's bring some more people in here. There's a nice movie called The Northman that's coming out in just a few months here, and it's just coincidence that we do happen to have the actual Northman himself from Gailing of the Geeks podcast, Emmett Davis. What's up, Emmett?
How's it going, fellas? I'm really excited tonight because I want to know whether or not we should dip our French fries in ketchup or not?
We're gonna find out, man.
It's the question taking over my Twitter thread. Yeah. You know, I muted the Batman 3 weeks ago, and all I want to know now is about dipping French fries.
I had to include everybody, and I was running out of characters, but we will answer that question for sure tonight.
I hope so. Nachos, people.
But you brought that on yourself, Emmett.
It's my biggest question that I want to know after seeing the Batman.
You unlocked the horror of mayo, man.
Yeah.
You unlocked the horror of mayo.
Come on, no, it's good.
You were like the Riddler of this stream.
No, and there's so many different types of mayonnaise too. You got the Hellmann's, you got the Miracle Whip. You know,
that's good stuff, though.
Man, I tell you.
For anybody watching out there, just please note that Emmett's feelings on mayo and French fries does not represent Canada as a whole. So
Carlos lives in the flattest part in all of Canada. He has no idea what mountains look like. You know, don't even.
How many Canadians are on this show?
Take it easy. There's a lot of Canadians. We've got 3, right? For sure.
Yeah, we got 3. Man, I live at the foot of the Rockies. I can see them when I drive home.
Not the real Rockies.
What? This is what comes out of a guy who eats mayo with French fries. This is why you don't do it.
Yeah, Jerry, get the French thing, right? That's what they do in.
It's the tang. It's all about tang, Mr. C.
The tang.
They do that on the Riviera.
Zeddy looks utterly baffled right now.
I'm just the only Rockies I know of are the Colorado Rockies, so you know it beats me. So
no, they're better up here, Zeddy. They're better up here.
Yeah,
funny as hell, man.
Feel that
one.
we
can agree on.
So Emma, is this you telling us you want all of us to take a field trip up to where you are? Because we would love
go
to
see Carlos.
I know I would.
You go see Carlos. I'm good. The good Canadian. You go see Carlos. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh man! All right. Well, you know it's funny, Emma, because you do have a co-host, right, on your podcast. Is that right? You do. Okay. Well, he just so happens to be with us, and he's actually my co-host of the world's finest. We got that Chris Evans, the only Chris Evans in my book. Chris Evans. How you doing, sir?
How's it going?
Vigilante's ass.
That's me.
What? Do you guys put that in t-shirts? Because I will also buy that t-shirt.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that'd be a cool t-shirt somehow. If you could swing that.
Oh, that's
Chris,
hilarious.
put your face on it.
Swing that with his face.
Well, yeah, because we can't use the Gathering of the Geeks logo because I'll get sued and so will Emmett. Because it has, something that looks like Batman on there. Looks like.
No, you basically have to use.
Looks like.
Right.
You'd have to use a silhouette of Nightwing's ass to make that shirt.
Yeah, it's true.
That's a better idea.
He's got the biggest dong.
Yeah, because that's a big thing,
Oh man.
Chris, how you feeling, brother?
I am stoked. Can't put into words. If I do, I'm going to ramble. But I'm very excited.
Well, we want
It's been
There'll be plenty of time for rambling. Don't you worry. So, but before we can get everything going here, we got one last person to bring in here because saving the best for last here. We were actually just on this gentleman show not too long ago, and we got this man likes to keep a low profile. Some would call that a secret. So we have super secret Josh. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on, man?
Hey, we just need to find someone from Mexico, and this would be the NAFTA fanboy.
We do, man. I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it would be just representing North America super well here. How are y'all doing?
Dude,
Wonderful.
Unbelievable.
Can't complain.
Good. I am so stoked for the Batman. I can't even tell you guys. I'm seeing it on Tuesday, and it doesn't even I don't even feel like it's real. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just coming so quickly. And I've got to tell you, I was somebody who wasn't super stoked on this. Me and Adam talked about it yesterday on Tuesday on the show that we co-host. And I've got to tell you, everything I've seen from this movie makes me more and more and more excited to see it. I think it looks incredible. I'm loving. Somehow Matt Reeves has made something simultaneously more realistic looking and more fantastical. And I don't know how he did it, but he's done it. And I cannot wait. And everything that we're hearing, I think it's going to be just amazing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well said, brother. Also, real quick, what's cool is when a lot of this early news was coming out, weren't you and Zeddy both writing for Revenge of the Fans?
We were.
When a lot of this early stuff started. So there's been connections well before.
Yeah.
Well before.
Yeah, and I had I had Katie Rentschler on my show as well recently from Revenge of the Fans. So it's been a Revenge of the Fans reunion. Adam used to write for Revenge of the Fans
I
too.
did. I think we all did it.
not know
I think we all did at one point. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny because one of my first reviews on there was the Flashpoint animated movie, which is
really?
kind of interesting, and because now that a sort of Flashpoint is coming down the pipe, and it's going to have a Batman in it, so it all came full circle. But yeah, it's good times.
Okay, I have a really funny story. One time, sorry, it'll take like 2 seconds.
No, go ahead.
One time, so Mario assigned me to write about Game of Thrones. I had not seen a single frame of Game of Thrones. And so I was like, so he sent me the news, and I was like, huh. And it was that George Lucas directed a scene in Game of Thrones. So I had to come up with some sort of like rhetorical like flourish to come up with, like, I talked a lot about Star Wars. I talked about Kit Harington and oh gosh, what's her name? Yeah, Amelia Clark. And then I kind of left it at that because I had no clue what to say. Now I've seen the show, and it's
What
amazing.
scene did he film?
He filmed a scene in the final season. George Lucas.
I didn't know that either.
How did we not know that?
I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, he directed a scene in the final.
God bless that man. God bless that man.
Ah,
well, everyone, I just want to say one massive cheers before we get started. If you have a drink, thank you all for joining us. You all have become such wonderful, close friends in this space. And thank you for being willing to take the time to hang out with us on a Friday night on the eve of The Batman. Zeddy, take it away.
Well said. Well, speaking of good times here, gentlemen, we have just literally said it. It was 10 years since Dark Knight Rises. One Eve of the Batman. That feels unreal to say. So real quick here, just give me a little show of hands. Is there anybody that's not seeing the Batman opening week here? Is there anybody that's not going to see it? Nobody?
For anyone that's not. No, I mean, I hope.
Cool.
Oh,
Lauren will. Oh, okay. So when are you seeing
It's because I go with my family, so they bought tickets for, I think, the weekend. Like, it'll be on the end of the first week, so it'll be the weekend after.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's tough.
Cool. All right, that's tough. But hey, you can
everybody's
do it,
gonna spoil.
You
like,
can do it.
what am I gonna do?
I know. What are you gonna do? So, all right. So let's actually just start off with a little bit of hopes and expectations. So, Carlos, the goddamn Batman.
Shoot, I'm honored.
You can answer this however you like. What are your personal hopes and expectations for the Batman?
My main hope is that it's something that can be universally embraced and that of the widest possible audience comes to it, loves it, enjoys what they see, and get excited for more in the DC universe space, right? Because people aren't really that bothered about this is separate and this is not connected to that. And like, you'll go to the theater and people are wondering if Spider-Man's going to show up at the end of the movie, right? Like, people just want to go see a good movie, and I want that, right? I don't want the scenarios where people are feeling alienated because they can't get into what's being put to screen, or that they don't love what he's done with this version of Batman. I don't think that's at all going to be the case. Everything I've read about what Reeves' mindset has been with developing the project and trying to get it right and where it comes from, and even just based on his approach to the Apes films, I think that's what we're going to get. So honestly, it's like Brother Tim in the chat, like, that's what gets me the most excited. Like, a guy who is like the like freaking the consigliere to Kevin Feige, like you know, the MCU like poster child who's like crazy excited for the Batman coming out, right? And I sent him that unboxing video I did for that McFarlane statue, and like he was planning on hitting up the store to go grab the other one that they brought in because the excitement level is that high, and I want the movie to pay off for that guy. For like the people who are on kind of, you know, who aren't the dyed-in-the-wool DC fanboys who are willing to give it a chance, want them to be totally blown away and come away loving the character even more than they did when they bought their ticket.
Amen, brother. Real quick question. Was the McFarlane statue intact?
And it is glorious.
It's
It is
glorious?
freaking glorious.
Okay, good.
There's
So
an
now-
unboxing video on the YouTube Nerd Room channel that you can
He's not
watch.
going to give it away for free. You got to watch the video. Come on.
I'm on Todd's ass lately, man. I'm
I know, man. That's not only is
many
he
of
my
these
countryman,
figures.
he lives in my city.
You're
And
harassing a fellow Canadian. No, what's wrong with
Yeah,
that?
and you know what? Like, I think it's just those Chicago ones because they heard you like trash talking them, so you
Yeah,
sent me
dude,
the
he's
bunk
like-
figures.
He's
Wow.
like that Nikko Caruso up there in
Yeah.
Chicago. You send him the shitty one.
All I'm gonna say is that Zeddy got one from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and it's in perfect shape.
Ooh, you couldn't rip
Zeddy-
that thing apart even if you tried. Oh man! All right, Emmett, kick us off here. What are your personal hopes, and expectations? I know you're hyped for the movie. What are your hopes and expectations for the movie?
One hope for me is that by the end of the end credits, I'm going with my wife and my best friend. I hope I can look at them and say, "Wow." I remember doing that in one of the only movies that I can recall, which is just The Dark Knight. I remember, at the final scene when he's, the bike's going up the hill and the lights are on it and Gordon's doing his whole thing. Like I just said to my friend, I just turned to him literally, and I haven't done it since, and I hadn't done it before, and I just said, "Wow," and if I can do that with the Batman, that'd be pretty freaking swell. And that, like, I talk about this all the time with Chris. We talk about hype. We talk about, hopes and maybe putting too much pressure on something.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's not the case as well. I hope I haven't put too much personal pressure on this, it being so long since, a solo Batman movie. But I hope for a wow. I hope for a wow for other people too. Like I think of Zeddy, who talks about this movie more than he talks about anything I've ever seen in my whole entire life. More than he talks about, hyping up Bud Lights, he talks about the Batman.
Well, good.
So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, I want other people to be wowed. That's what the movies are for. They're for being wowed in superhero movies and good superhero movies. They can be wowing too. So I hope for wow.
Wonderful. Chris, what are your hopes and expectations for the movie? Round us up.
I just want to enjoy it. Really, I hope everybody else does too. But for me, and I know this is yours too, but Begins is my favorite Batman movie. So if it can get at least at that level, like somewhere in that range, I'm happy. I don't need like a 10 out of 10. I'm good with like an 8 or a 7. I don't care. As long as I enjoy it and everybody else does, I'm cool.
Wonderful. Adam, what are your hopes and expectations for the Batman?
Global phenomenon.
Well, I mean, for me, yeah. Well, ideally, if it ends up being a global phenomenon, man, I'm gonna hashtag the crap out of that if that happens, just to piss people off. But no, in all honesty, Batman has always been my favorite character, and he means so much to me. So, and in truth, there's only one version of Batman that disappointed me, and that's the George Clooney iteration, which would be no shock to anybody. But first and foremost, if they give me a really good movie, I'll be happy. If it can make me feel the way I felt like when I saw my first movie ever in theaters, which was Batman '89, if I can have that feeling, then I'll be over the moon, because I felt like I was a 6-year-old, and then I felt like a 6-year-old again when I watched Batman Begins, and I was wowed the same way with The Dark Knight. And so if I can have that feeling again, it would be the best thing I could hope for. The other thing that there are two other things that I'm really keying in on, and that's the detective aspect that Matt Reeves keeps talking about. With all the talk he's been doing about it, it better be there, because it's like, now you're going to be excited to see that. You better show it to me. And the other thing that I'm wanting to see is better fight choreography compared to the last time we saw Batman in a solo film, because the one negative I really have of the Nolan trilogy is the fight choreography. As a person who's trained in martial arts for 20 years, I found that offensive. And so I need better. And so that's what I'm looking for.
That's
Fingers
fair.
crossed for you, brother.
That's
fair.
awesome, dude.
Lauren, what are your hopes and expectations for the Batman?
I was hoping you want to make me go right after what he said, because I am like the opposite. I actually am not a fan of the Dark Knight trilogy, and it's not because they're bad films. For me, those aren't superhero movies. They are great dramas that have action, but to me, they're not superhero Batman films. They just don't speak that way. So those were actually slight disappointments for me, because
That take a lot.
it was so different. Like they were basically almost Academy award winning films, like Oscar winning films. I'm like, Batman films aren't like that. Like they should be good enough to win awards, but they wouldn't, because they're superhero films. These feel like actual adult dramas. I don't want that. So I'm hoping that I want to leave this theater going, wow, that's the film I've been looking for, because I feel like I haven't gotten the Batman film yet. Like the old films, like the 90s ones and stuff, they're silly. And then you have the Burton ones in the 90s, which were creepy, but still, too quirky, like silly. And then you had the Dark Knight trilogy, which great gritty stuff, but not really Batman to me, just dramas. And so I'm really hoping that this film finds that balance between all those things and adds in the actual superhero stuff. Because, I feel like so many people, because of the Dark Knight trilogy, they see Batman and Bruce Wayne in this very pretentious light. Like, oh, he's this kind and he only does this. And I'm like, you're missing it. He's also still a superhero. He does cheesy things. He's not the 60s Batman, but he's still going to have moments like Superman where he realizes, okay, wait, I'm being emo. I need to actually get off my ass and go save people. Let me go do that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm hoping I'm hoping it will be a nice balance for everybody. The people that like the Dark Knight trilogy, but still want another good Batman film and are open to something different. I'm hoping it'll make them happy. I'm hoping that people that are like, those movies didn't do it for them, that these will bring them back. So I guess kind of like the No Way Home stuff. Like, I'm hoping this will bring everybody together and everybody can for once agree, like, we all like Batman. Cool. We're on the same page for 10 minutes.
I do respect that take, though, because even we sometimes, when we rank comic book films, we always try to we hold the Dark Knight trilogy on such a high standard that sometimes I'll be like, if I'm counting the Dark Knight as number one,
Of course.
but if I'm not, it's Spider-Man 2. Like, because
Yeah.
I'm like in the middle of Lauren and everyone else, where it's sometimes I don't like. I still consider those Batman movies, but I consider them high drama, high art films more than the comic book genre. Whereas this one, I actually think is capturing a lot of both, which someone alluded to at the start. It does look really grounded, but it also does look fantastical at the same time. We got our guy Chris saying that's blasphemy. But hey,
Can you point out his comment that Batman is not a superhero? Because, Chris, I hate to break it to you, but he is. And that's a good thing. He should be. That's his point.
Emmett get involved in the comments too, but he's on the screen. How's he doing that at the same time? At the same time.
Yellow oval, of course.
Beautiful.
I will say, just to speak to Lauren's comment, I don't begrudge her that take. I will say, personally, Batman Begins is my favorite of the three, simply because it's more of a comic book superhero film than because I've always said the Dark Knight, if you take out the Batman and the Joker aspect and just make it about an FBI agent chasing down a serial killer, it still works as a movie. If you take Batman out of Batman Begins, it's missing something. So, or it feels like it's missing something. So that's where I am at.
Dude, we got great friends. There are some fantastic takes on this show.
And then Rises with that ending just pissed me off. So
this is really deep and heavy. Josh, come on.
Batman Begins is the most Batman-y a film of that trilogy. It is. And I enjoy it for that reason. I mentioned it on Twitter. It reminds me of the Denny O'Neil 1970s era of Batman, because they use Ra's al Ghul and a bunch of other elements too. It's very obviously hinted towards that. But as far as and by the way, Lauren, I disagree with you on the Dark Knight trilogy, but I don't think your take is off base. I think your take is actually pretty spot on. I just am able to appreciate it for what it is, because I've always said that I think in terms of quality of films, the Dark Knight trilogy is better, but in terms of like what my favorite Batman movie is, it's Batman 89, because it's more of a superhero
Yep,
movie.
and
It's more
that's exactly the whole point. Like that's what I mean by like it's technically a superhero film because Batman's there, but most of those films, Batman's not being a superhero. It's about Bruce and the drama and the buildup, and then you get 10 minutes of action. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I agree with you. Like, they're amazing, high quality films. Not trashing the trilogy. Like, I want to make that clear. But
Yeah.
again, they're more high end dramas, stuff that gets Oscars and stuff, which is awesome. I love that for them. But that's not what
Yes.
I want in a Batman film, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Totally-
that comes
totally
down
hear
to the
that.
approach, right?
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the goal. If you
Mhm.
look at some of those early Nolan interviews, it was he wanted to make X type of film that just happened to have superheroes in it, which is kind of what Adam was saying, right? So, and he's right. You do strip away those characters, and the movies still work. But yeah, I do kind of get what Lauren's saying, because like we've never really had a movie out of all of them that's ever been put to screen where you have that comic booky Batman with like gadgets and swinging around from rooftop to rooftop and jumping in and out of windows and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, if that's what you're looking for, those Nolan movies are probably the furthest from it. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I don't know. I do think it's interesting that those Nolan films are the things that everybody's still chasing, right? Marvel Studios, Sony Pictures, Warner Brothers themselves, they're all still chasing that. But it's an interesting dynamic because maybe they are missing the fact that they are the least comic booky of the pantheon of movies we have based on these characters.
Yeah, Marvel's not chasing them. Marvel's been doing its formula and it's working. Like,
yeah, they're doing their own thing.
Marvel's
but
the one person not.
I don't know. I think Eternals was one of those movies that's kind of looking at what the Dark Knight was doing and saying we want to try and do that. And even a movie like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, right? They're like, no, this is a psychological spy thriller, but it's still within the parameters of what they do, type of thing, right? So if you listen to the things that Feige says when they're developing their movies, there are 100% elements of them chasing that. Everybody is chasing that. Everybody wants to have that bona fide best picture caliber movie. A movie that, like Black Panther, it's one of my favorite movies of all time and a very special and dear film to me, but it had no business being in that best picture category, but The Dark Knight does.
Yeah,
I would so disagree on that, actually. Like, Black Panther is one of my favorite movies, and it's such a superhero film, but it's a perfect example of a quality superhero film without going into that Oscar world, which is what The Dark Knight does. So I respectfully disagree. Black Panther would deserve that, in my opinion.
What's cool is that it's cool that we're having this level of conversation, because I really think the Batman is going to be a film that kind of is able to satisfy comic book fans and also push into the Oscars realm as well. When you look at like Greg Fraser's cinematography and what they're saying about the script, etc. So we'll see. But also, this comment right here is cool because we're all talking about our hopes and dreams here. So one of his childhood friends works at a studio and saw it early, and he's not a fan of the stuff, but our guy Chris is here, and he was told you're not ready for this, which is pretty awesome. Well, what are your hopes and expectations as the respectfully as the eldest?
Here's what I want.
Batman fan here.
I want nothing less than worldwide domination.
Global phenomenon.
No, I don't want global. I want worldwide domination. Coming off of No Way Home, and the fact that this movie is opening up in China, I just want Batman to regain his status, if you will, along with Spider-Man, as the two most important superheroes in the world. And I think this movie has a chance to do it based on comments like that. I think the GA, the people who are not diehard comic book fans, are going to love this movie. And to be honest with you, I'm being greedy, but I want to see Batman back on top. It's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, he's taken a back seat because some of these Marvel characters over the last 10 years or so, we all know, as much as I love Ben Affleck as Batman, that particular iteration did not hold. It did not capture the mainstream audience. So I want it all. I want to be able to just not only, I'm already assuming I'm enjoy the movie, but I want Batman. I want him to be the main focus. I want to see kids running around. I want to hear the stories from everybody. I'm greedy. That's what I want.
You know, and like father, like son, I'm greedy as hell too, and I'll tell you why. The way we walked out of The Dark Knight in 2008, I was 13, and it was life-changing. That's what made me love film. It's what made me realize that it could be greater than things I was already seeing. We did walk out of Rises very happy because it was an ending, and our excitement for another version of the character was cut short. So I'm looking for not only to feel the same things you are, I'm looking for us to be able, kind of like Emmett said, to be able to turn to each other and go, wow, it's here, he's back, he's on top. And just short and sweet, I'm also greedy because I had a Spider-Man film that well, you guys know how I feel about No Way Home. I don't gotta spell that out. I'm looking for that same level. I am. And is that greedy and super high hopes and expectations? Yeah, but I own that, and I own that I'm walking into this hoping for a masterpiece. And that's what I think I'm going to get, because the way it looks, the way it feels, I'm someone who's watching all the clips and all the trailers, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really excited, but hold the phone.
Hold it.
Hold the phone. Is there a surprise cast member? What, Mr. Holzman?
I'm a surprise.
Because it's been half hour, so I didn't know if you're coming out or not.
Hello.
So yeah, it's a surprise.
Hello, everyone. I've been kind of lurking, listening, and hearing you guys talk. And I was actually watching the end of the Knicks. I know I'm a masochist in that regard, but I was watching the end of the game, so checking that out. I'm wearing my Islanders hat though. They suck this year too, but hey, whatever. I'm here, so it's been interesting. It's been interesting listening to everyone's takes. But go ahead, continue. You were talking.
Eric, you're here. No. What are your hopes? What are your expectations?
I want to know how you.
Oh, okay. My hopes are that it's just a very good film. I don't have too many high aspirations for this. I have heard some things about it, so I'm expecting to like it. I'm expecting to love it. Actually, it's a film that's very much in the vein of films that I like to watch. So the thriller, the noir style. I knew that beforehand, but just because it's being kind of affirmed to me now from people. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I really, really hope. I heard you guys saying that you want Batman to be number one again. I mean, to me, I just hope he's back in the conversation. Let me put it that way. I hope he's back in that conversation of being the draw that he's always been. And from what it seems like we're headed that way. So, but yeah, I just want it to be a very, very good movie. I want everyone to enjoy it. I want this to be a movie that unites people, especially with everything going on in the world right now. I feel like we could use some of that. So, I just want something to bring everyone together, even though I know that won't be the case. It will be divisive, of course, but that's really my hope.
Why do you say it'll be divisive? Just because that's how fanboys are, or
I mean,
insider info in that regard?
Oh no! I don't have any insider info regarding that the content of the film or what's in it that's going to be divisive. Nothing that we all haven't seen.
Movie? Is Henry Cavill in the movie?
Henry Cavill is not in the movie.
His shadow is though, and that's also big.
Yeah, just his shoulders down. That's been a big hit with people.
His boot is going to be in it.
It's a good boot.
Oh, man.
So no, but I just these movies are always divisive because of, like you said, like the way fandom is. So, I just feel like that's going to happen. We already know a specific fan base is going to nitpick. I'm not going to say they're going to have problems with the whole film, but they're definitely going to nitpick and find things to poke at.
You mean the Lady Gaga fans?
Of course, yes. Nikko's enemies. Nikko's enemies, the Lady Gaga fans. The Jessica Chastain fans.
But I think Lawrence said it best. Like when you look at No Way Home, really everyone was divisive about your favorite Spider-Man. So I think this movie has a chance to where those people that do that little small minority, I don't think they'll make much noise. I really don't, because I think when this thing starts steamrolling, you kind of look like a fool when you're trying to take something down that's so big, just like No Way Home. You did not hear. There were people that didn't like it. I know people that didn't like it, and I had conversations, but they were such in the minority that their voice never really got loud.
It got like suppressed in all the
quickly. And again,
Spidey
right. And it's
gasm.
one of those things when something is so grand like that, you almost like it's not even worth your time to kind of cut it down or whatnot. Like, why spoil everybody's parade? So I'm being optimistic here and thinking that this is going to do the same thing for the Batman. We'll see.
Zed Master. I want to hear from the guy on top who's been really championing this since we started the show. 3.5 years ago? So Zed, what are your hopes and expectations? As my father goes to refuel. Don't trip.
Yeah, no, please don't trip. So yeah, my main hope and expectation is that you guys, somebody here said it, is that Batman is just on top, that he's the king, and that we feel like Batman is back. Because, we say it like it's 10 years is a long time, for a solo Batman movie, right? I mean, obviously, Ben Affleck's Batman was on screen, but it wasn't very well received. So I'm looking for this to kind of recapture that magic again. I've been saying for the longest time, I think this thing has a shot to bring you back to how it felt, how the Nolan trilogy was going on. I think it does have a shot. I think Pattinson looks and sounds like he wants to be in it for the long haul. So that's good. That's refreshing. All the right things are being said. Everything's in place for it to be pretty historic. But I mean, as far as it, I'm looking for it to be a great Batman movie. There's people saying he's going to be our favorite Batman. I think that's a little prejudiced right now, considering we haven't seen it. Maybe we might need another movie to really, really say that, but everything just seems to fall in line. So I'm personally hoping that it's, after following this movie for 5 years, that I'm satisfied. Like that we're sitting in the theater and we're just like blown away where we don't know what to say. That's how I want to be, because I think that's what we're being set up for. But
well said, Tim. It's a great example of content rising above the fan base, kind of like you said. So I think
very eloquent the way he breaks stuff down and says it, Tim.
That's why he's the apex producer, man.
He's an MCU guy, but he's still profound when he speaks.
Well said. So
man, he's just like Kevin Feige. They know what they're doing. They always got the hat, except Tim wears it backwards.
Oh man. All right. So obviously we just went through all of our hopes and expectations, and I think one of the things that goes hand in hand with expectations is whether or not we can actually leave them at the door. Because I think there is a narrative going on right now that is the Batman too hyped. There's obviously a comment here by our guy Craig here where he's just saying he hopes the movie is going to hit with the general audience. And, I'm wondering, are we hyping the movie up too much? Is this movie hyped to the point where our expectations won't be met? Emmett, what do you think of that? Is the movie too hyped? Are we overhyping our own expectations? What do you think?
Well, it's for sure a personal thing about how much you want to overhype a movie, and like I've muted the Batman, lots of things on Twitter because of other people's hype. So like I've always tried, and I like to think that if I go in with, lesser expectations, or maybe just trying not to think about it, like think about what my hype level is. That's kind of a thing, maybe to put it in the back of my mind. And I think it was said at the start of the show, I think it was by Carlos or someone else, that it almost doesn't feel real. So maybe if I don't think about it and I can control my hype level and my expectations, that it can try and limit it, because it does affect how I view movies, putting unrealistic expectations on the top of things. As for it being overhyped by like what we see on Twitter, what we're hearing about like what the box office can be, I hope it's overhyped tenfold for those people, and I hope it benefits them, and I hope it benefits the movie. Because as we've seen with the all the chatter on Twitter, hype can be a good thing for lots of things, for future movies, for the big box office, that kind of thing. So it can be a give and take for personal reasons like my own, but for the quality of the movie, not so much, but how high the movie can go box office wise, review wise, rating wise, that kind of thing. it can really benefit from overhyping or over high expectations.
Well said. Well said, Chris. What do you think? Is it actually reasonable to say that the Batman might be too hyped? What do you think?
There's no hype like a solo Batman movie, and that's just the way it is for me. I think for a lot of people, he is one of the most iconic characters ever to hit the screen. He's one of the best comic book characters to ever hit the page. People love Batman, and nothing gets people more riled up than a solo Batman film, especially with the talent this one has behind it. Matt Reeves doesn't miss. You know, I've seen the majority of his films.
Yeah.
I don't even like monster movies like Cloverfield. I love Cloverfield.
It's good.
Like King Kong, I don't like him. I don't. I'll go see him, but I don't like him. Love that one. And then, you know, Robert Pattinson, everybody picks on him. Twilight. The guy has done some great stuff since. And any actor you pick has horrible films in their backlog. Any actor.
That's true.
And I'm not even saying Twilight's horrible for the fans. It's cool. But, you know, the talent that goes behind this, I think there is a point where, the hype is getting to be too much, but I don't think it's a bad thing, you know, because the more hype it generates, the more people are going to see it. And, you know, if they don't like it, they don't like it. But, you know, they still went to go see it. And someone like me, I'm like with Carlos. I haven't watched anything since the second Fandom trailer. I've not seen TV spots, clips, the new trailers, and I can't get any more hyped than I am right now. So I don't think it can be too hyped. I think it's a good thing.
Very, very well said. So I actually want to take this to a little bit of a different approach because our guy Eric, actually, you wrote an article like a while ago actually questioning whether or not people cared about solo Batman. And, you know, at the time, you know, I actually think it was a fair argument to make. But, you know, now we've gotten 3 trailers. The press is in full gear here. The cast is coming out talking about the movie. Also, Eric, you know, has your stance changed since you wrote that article? What do you think?
How do you feel now?
I mean, it wasn't really my stance. I was having a conversation with people at the time and
Justin
friends.
Quality.
No, not even Justin.
Just
other
kidding.
people. It's just other people outside of this space. Just people in general. I was talking with them and asking them about about a solo Batman movie coming out, and this was not long after Reeves had been named director, and then the Vice article came out as well, which kind of was talking about the same problem. So I was like, well, let me just kind of lurk around the internet and find out if this is actually something that people are interested in. And at the time, I was really surprised to find that not many people were. For a lot of the reasons we've all heard in the past, like, you know, we've seen Batman so many times. He's had so many movies already. I'm confused. Who's playing Batman this time? That's always been a big thing. Is this a continuation? You know, it was just all of that was kind of confusing to people. And I have to say, after the first Fandom trailer, I went back and I checked a little bit, and it was kind of still 50-50. It was a little better. People were definitely more interested. But as things have gone on and the marketing has gotten so much better, yes, the tide has turned overwhelmingly in a positive way. People just want to see the movie now. And I kind of agree, though, that I think because of the style of story that's being told, that might be a reason why too. Because some people are like, well, it's Batman, but it looks like it's going to be a different kind of story being told, something that I'm interested in. So that's been an interesting little tidbit that I found out just by going back and trying to double up and see. It's cool if you do things in Quora or Reddit, though, because every time someone comments on it, you get an email. So every time someone answers one of these questions, I'm getting an email about the topic. But yeah, me personally, I've always been behind this film. Like, I've never not been behind it. I mean, I was kind of worried in the beginning, are we going to have a little fatigue? But it wasn't my expectations or my interest and hype for the film had never wavered. I've always been interested in this movie, and as soon as Reeves was named director too, because I just love his work. Yeah, I think he's a fantastic director. So for me personally, no, My hype level has been kind of steady and probably gotten even more and more as we've seen more. But I've kind of been like Chris. I've watched the spots I've seen on TV when they've come on, but I haven't looked for them. I've kind of I haven't listened to any of the music, none of the singles from the. I did listen to a little bit of the first one, the Batman theme, but other than that, I haven't listened to any of the other ones. I've been spoiled in that regard, where because I was watching the NBA All-Star game and they had that new spot that I was like, crap. So like it's here, and I'm like, should I change it? So I did. I caught the first little bit of it that I changed it, but yeah, for me personally, I can't wait, and I hope that it was really good to see that everyone was starting to change their tune, and that this movie definitely does have much more interest. And as we know from the ticket sales to the advanced sales, it's been excellent. So
yeah, definitely. So Carlos, I want to shift gears here a little bit, and I want to ask, is there a scenario in which you think the Batman doesn't meet expectations? What do you think?
No, because I think expectations are in an interesting place, because we have the benefit of coming out of versions of the character that weren't overly well received. So people are open and welcome to something new, and they'll be receptive to that. So that's the first thing it has going for it. The second thing it has going for it is Spider-Man No Way Home checked a lot of boxes, so people aren't going to be salivating and wanting a particular thing that's not going to come. And then number 3, you have truth in advertising with this movie, where I think people know exactly the type of movie that they're going to get. And, it's a little bit familiar because it has those elements that we saw in the Dark Knight trilogy. So they know it's not going to be over the top and fantastical and Penguin pulling out umbrellas with guns in them and things of that nature. But at the same time, they've seen things where it's like, yeah, there's action going on, and, those things that we've come to love with other comic book movies. And then you just have Matt Reeves coming up the middle, just quietly going about his business, honestly ignoring all the noise and just doing his thing, right? Like he was confident in hiring Pattinson, and, people kind of looked at that sideways, and then he's like, well, I know what I'm doing. And we saw those first few bits of Pattinson, and it just blew everybody away. So yeah, I don't think so, because I think people's expectations will be in check, and it did the one fatal flaw that these movies make. And like people have brought up Last Jedi in the comments, and BVS honestly felt treated the same thing, was advertising a movie one way, and then the reality of what they're bringing to screen is something else. And by all indications, that's not the case. Like, I think what we've seen with the advertising, the way it's being marketed, it's pretty clear as to the type of movie that we're going to get. I haven't seen Sugary the Batman cereal in my grocery store. Could be because I'm in Canada, but that's not the type of movie that they're selling, and I think that's a good thing. People will go in eyes wide open, and yeah, I think it's in a great spot. And anybody who's on the fence is just waiting for those friends to go see it opening weekend and be like, yeah, you know what, totally worth your money. We got to go. Let's go tomorrow, type of thing. So,
well said. Lauren, what do you think? Expectations versus reality, are the lines blurred a little bit? What do you think?
I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, we've talked about before in general, and I've talked about in other shows too, but like, you just don't want to hype yourself up so much that anything less will disappoint you. So, for example, if you go in being like, it's going to be the best Batman movie ever, and it's actually pretty good, but it's not the best, you will still be disappointed. And so I usually like it how Chris puts it, even though, like, he's so excited. He's like, okay, I'm just going to be cool, and we're going to hope it's good. And then that way your expectations are easy to meet. It's like that scene in Dodgeball where Vince Vaughn's character goes, you know what, if I just don't expect anything, everything's great, because you can't disappoint me.
What a great movie.
Cram on the floor.
Talk about being snubbed at the Oscars.
There's a write-in vote, hashtag.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Nobody.
music.
God, he's such an asshole in that film. That character Ben Stiller plays. But yeah,
So
so I
good,
mean,
man.
I think kind of like Carlos said, it is a sweet spot because as long as your audience understand this, like I think some people think there's two kinds of Batman films. It's either super serious and gritty, or it's the '60s Batman that's complete shits and giggles, and that's the thing. The Batman, like Batman himself, is in between there. He is not all the way over here being goofy and whatever, and he's also not gritty and don't drama Oscar worthy all the time. Like he's there's a sweet spot, and I think this movie is going to hit that sweet spot. But unlike Spider-Man, where you had all the hype because everybody knew people were going to show up in that film, like we all spoiled it for ourselves. We don't have something like that to hype this up. So I think this film will start out strong, but won't start out as strong as that. But I think it has a chance to get even bigger after the first weekend, potentially because of because your audiences are walking out going, oh my God, guys, those people aren't kidding. It actually was good. Like, go see it. Like, so I think a good amount of people have their expectations in check. I just don't want any more. No offense to anybody, but I don't want any more cultists. We don't need a Matt Reeves cult coming out being like, Matt Reeves, make everything. No, like, let him have this film. That's good. But like, we don't need a cult, guys.
Well said. Well said. All right, so I want to throw this one back over to my guy Josh here, and just walk me through your journey with the movie. Actually, is this a movie that you were following from the start? Is it something that you picked up over time? Has the hype always been there? Just what has your journey been like following the Batman?
I have been following development of Batman films since 1999. Literally, that's when I found Batman on film. And I used to go to, before that, actually, I used to go to upcomingmovies.com. I don't know if you guys remember that website.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I used to go there, and I follow every Batman movie. And I have to admit, initially, I was a little bit bummed when we kind of found out that Matt Reeves wasn't going to be making this film within the DC universe. But the more I've seen and the more that we have learned about what Warner Brothers plans are for Batman within the DC universe, I feel very confident on that side. Now I can be excited about this film for what it is. And I'm really excited to see what Matt Reeves' vision of Gotham City and these characters is. So that's kind of where I was. To be honest with you, when they revealed the suit, I was a little bit, it felt like a step backwards to me. Felt like we were kind of doing what we did in the Nolan trilogy, and then it being described as grounded and gritty. It was like, oh, this is going to be another rehash. And then actually seeing the trailers, it was like, oh, okay, this is going to be completely different. And it actually, like I said before, kind of looks more fantastical. And that's really cool. Do you mind if I answer the previous question really quick? Like, is there something that could this film not meet expectations? I think it depends on the Matt Reeves that we get. So Matt Reeves made 2 Planet of the Apes films. He made Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. And I feel like War for the Planet of the Apes is the better film, but it's also the film that is less general audiences friendly.
Because the
box office, yes.
Yeah. It has way more. It was very long, first of all.
Yeah.
It had a more character moments, which made it a better film, I felt like. A lot of interaction between Woody Harrelson's character and Caesar, which was great. That being said, I think that if you see, everybody loves freedom for directors and stuff like that. But if you want a successful film franchise, you kind of have to. Bad Ape is a great character. He really is a great character. A lot of people want full creative freedom for directors, and that is excellent. That is great to a large extent. But the thing that makes Kevin Feige so successful over in the MCU is that he knows what makes a successful box office friendly film that general audiences are going to love.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've always wanted for the DC universe is sort of a happy medium, is like, how can we still give directors freedom while giving them a little bit of a leash so that you can pull back on their worst impulses when they're worst, quote unquote. Because like I said, actually looking at it objectively, War for the Planet of the Apes is the better of the two films. But in order to make more of these movies, they need to make money at the box office. Otherwise, they're not going to make money. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is also an excellent film, and it's more general audiences friendly. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So-
questioned when we walked out of War for the Planet of the Apes. I've always watched box office. I was shocked that that movie kind of came and went and really did not resonate with the general audience anywhere near Dawn. And yet I thought it was spectacular. We both walked out of that movie and fell in love with it. So that's an excellent point. Maybe the only thing I worry about is we talk about the length of movies. It's become a topic, but maybe the only thing is the movie could be a little too long. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen it. We don't know, but that's a great pick you had about those two movies. It's excellent.
Well said. So, Adam, what has your journey been like with the Batman, aside from buying too many merchandise like me? What's your journey been?
You mean, well, when it was first announced, I was excited that Matt Reeves was chosen as director because I like, pretty much all of his movies. So I knew from a director standpoint, we were in good hands. And I remember, I don't know, I was at a family function and somebody texted me like, "Did you hear the news?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Here's the new Batman." And they sent me a picture of Robert Pattinson. I'm like, "Okay, what are you expecting from me? What do you want me to say? Are you expecting a freak out? Are you expecting me to jump?" Like, all right, he's an actor. Yes, he did Twilight. I watched one. I didn't care for it, but that was also a decade ago. And
it doesn't age well, so no one.
Like, actors make crappy movies all the time. See Ben Affleck and Geely. I wasn't going to hold that against him. I'm like, I need to see him in the role. I can judge off of some of the other movies he did, but until I see him walking, talking as Bruce Wayne / Batman, does he have a Bruce Wayne look? Sure. Beyond that, talk to me when I see something. So I was never, pissed off or, oh my God, the sky's falling, look who they chose. Because I learned my lesson, a long time ago not to do that. And then, for me, the rest of the cast was shaping up phenomenally. Like, they were casting it with high caliber people. And what really sold me was, and again, I had seen the set pictures from the suit, and everybody was freaking out. I'm like, all right, but they're set pictures. They always look like crap. For the most part, they look like terrible. And then when I saw the first image, I'm like, that's the closest we're gonna get to Lee Bermejo. And I love that guy as an artist. So
Well
sure.
said.
And in everything that Reeves was describing, that costume made sense. Like for the story he was trying to tell. So I'm like, I'll go with it. I look at that and I see Batman. Like that's all I need to see. And yes, I complain about nipples and Batman and Robin and Batman, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna it's still a Batman suit, whether I like the addition of the nipples or not. So
nipples are great. Anyway,
well, sure.
He said nipples on Batman. There you go. There you go. That's a different thing.
I agree.
No, but so like, I was on board with the suit, and then what really sort of put me over the top with it was that very first trailer with the 25% worth of footage, like I mentioned earlier. If he could do that with 25% of footage at his disposal, what's the full thing going to look like? I can't wait. And me, because I'm an impatient person, I've listened to the score, and I described it on Twitter as ear porn, because, and I'm going to use the score to drown out all the hashtaggers and the global phenomenon people when they're getting too loud, and I don't want to hear them. I just put the score on and just get it. But the score is everything. It's unique, but also very Batman in the same way. And I do see kind of tones similar to Danny Elfman and Shirley Walker from Mask of the Phantasm. So there's a nice blend of things that I'm familiar with, but also its own beast. So my journey has been I've been wanting. Look, I wasn't thrilled with certain choices of the last iteration of Batman. Not Batman per se, but just the shared universe. Like, I like Batman with the Justice League. You can't put him with the other characters because I don't want that. That's not me personally. I'm fine with him with Superman and Wonder Woman, all those people. I just didn't like the direction that fantastic director that everybody thinks is the God's gifts to cinema was going. So I was ready. I'm like, I don't care at this point. I don't care if it's connected, not connected, tied with a rope. Like, I don't care. Just at the end of the day, give me a good Batman movie. And I know I said at the top, my hope is that it makes me feel like I did when I was 6 and watched Batman '89. But if I get a really good movie and I don't feel like a 6-year-old, I'll live. I'm fine with that. And then just to answer the question of, are the expectations too high? For me personally, no, because at the end of the day, I just want a good movie. In regards to box office, I don't make any predictions. All I know is the thing has got a $100 million production budget. It's going to do just fine. So in that regard, I think it was, who was it? Chris that said a solo Batman movie in terms of hype just hits different. And he's right. And that's no disrespect to Batman being involved with other people, because God knows I'm over here tapping my foot waiting for Michael Keaton to come back. But the hype for a solo Batman movie just does feel different. So I'm ready. Just give me this movie.
Zeddy, I got a question. Listen, we're having a lot of fun here. And I'm having a great time. Y'all,
do you have the marker? Do you have the marker?
No, I don't have the marker.
Just read the
He's got the marker. He's gonna draw. He's gonna
There's
draw a
still
little
time.
picture. He's gonna draw.
You settle down up there, Zeddy. No, listen, having a great time. Y'all are.
You're gonna get the Golden SAG Award in 2 days. I'm gonna win the SAG.
Great takes all around. You guys are on the money. I'm having a ball. I'm just chilling, man. We are having a great time, but we're at the hour mark here, and the chat erupted into this discourse.
Yeah, y'all are hungry in that chat.
I'm pulling an audible here, so we're gonna have. We've had an hour of just glorious, piping hot, sexy takes here, but we're gonna get a little food slutty here. The Batman calzone, yay or nay? We got to solve this. There's conflicting viewpoints on it. Okay, first on the screen, and then we're going to go back to the chat. On the screen, who has had the calzone? Because I'm going to write this shit down. We're going to figure this out. All right, I'm going to go in order. Zeddy, have you had it? Is it good? Yes or no?
Not had it.
Okay, Carlos, have you had it? Is it good? Yes or no?
I had it, and yes, I endorse it.
Okay, Emmett, yes or no? Adam, yes or no?
I haven't had it.
Yeah. Lauren, yes or no?
Haven't had it.
Damn it, Lauren. Chris.
Haven't had it.
Damn it, Chris. Josh Laguerre.
I have had it. The calzone part is disgusting, but the pizza part's okay.
So we have to judge it as a whole. So overall, yay or nay?
I would the calzone part's pretty gross, so I'd say nay.
Mr. Holtzman.
You know my answer.
I already know. I personally, as you saw, it was a 5.
Mr. Colonoscopy over there says nay.
Chat, speak. I know Shay, our guy BJ Shay said yes. Like Pete, Pete gave it a low score. I'm gonna say no for Pete. I'm gonna speak for Pete. I see you in here.
I think what this means is that Little Caesars in Canada
yay for BJ.
is
Yeah.
better than the Little Caesars in the States, right, Carl?
I mean,
Well, it's
maybe we get better action figures. It seems like so.
big
I think that's gonna make
Like
it-
maybe
I think
like
that's
it's
gonna make
higher
people
quality
try this
pizza,
thing.
Where's
higher
Ian?
quality.
Ian,
Better
have you
pizza, yeah.
had-
Yeah.
Where's Ian? Have
does
you
they
had the
have
calzone, Ian? Have you had it? Can you please weigh in?
Do you get it in Japan?
I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
can you get it in
available.
Japan? Is it available in Japan?
I do want to bring.
the employees are wearing.
I do want to bring something up.
Okay, so right now it's 4-3 nay.
I do want to bring something up. Apparently, Little Caesars has a version of a Batman pizza too. I saw that somewhere. And in Mexico, I believe it's Carl Jr.'s or Hardee's. They have a Batman hamburger.
Yeah,
Wow.
Carl's Jr.'s.
Yeah.
It's
That's
cool
actually
looking.
branded. It's
Yeah.
branded with the bat symbol.
So it's an
I want
Affleck
that
burger.
one.
So see, yeah, I was gonna say Affleck got a hold of
No,
that
it's
burger.
the
BBS
one.
burger.
Yeah,
What
man, it's
about
crazy
the
that
posters
I
and
saw the
Oh, Chris,
picture
that's
for
a
it.
nay. Thank you, Chris. Okay, 5-3. But I will say, the posters slab. I only got the Catwoman one, but it's pretty
That's all
freaking
you
fire.
need.
It's pretty fire.
Zoe Kravitz, it's all you need.
What?
Let's say if
what
it's not
earth-
enough for you, Nico, she's enough for me. I will gladly take it off your hands.
What
Send it
is
to me.
Adam?
is
That's
a
how my Martinez
perfect
Watts you know
transition.
that. So
Adam, what Earth is Zoe Kravitz for the multiverse?
in terms of the
Then you can
multiverse
move on.
wise list, Earth 11.
Earth 11. Earth.
I love how he didn't even have to hesitate. He just went,
God bless.
damn. He just got
And
it.
the
Yeah,
box
I'm
was
doing
fire.
a list on Twitter for Nico. He wants to see the full list, so
Dude, it's pretty impressive so far.
I'm obliging him. Yeah.
He's got some elites and then some sleepers on there that have earned my respect. Zed, sorry to pivot. You
Get the
could go
train.
back to the show now. I am now done with my silliness. Actually, wait.
Wait.
Okay.
Was basically spending 7 for the post.
Yeah, well,
fair. It's even fair. That's
Fair,
why I
fair.
went.
Yeah.
That's why
That
I
Sure.
went.
seems, that seems to be the
true.
consensus for sure. So let's pivot a little bit here. And Carlos, I want to know who you or what are you the most hyped to see in the Batman? Character, vehicle, everything. What are you excited to see the most?
Oh man, the Bruce Wayne character journey, just to see where he's at, where his headspace is at, how they develop that guy in Bruce Wayne deciding to take on the mantle of the Batman and operating in the city. So to kind of see those bridges, like to get a bit of background as to, you got that scene in that first trailer of Batman walking and all the cops looking at him. How does that guy get there, type of thing? So those are the things that I want to see.
Well said. Mr. C, what are you the most hyped to see in the Batman? Or what?
You know what? I've been watching all these interviews with the cast, and the one guy and it's wonderful. They all talk about their dedication and how important their roles are. Paul Dano, though, he looks like such a young guy. I don't know how old he is, but he seems like such a pleasant, just wonderful human being. And I'm really excited to see him as the Riddler, as this cold, calculating villain. I'm trying to figure out how, from what I've seen in the interviews, gets transferred to the movie and how he becomes that person. So really, I'm already assuming everybody else is just absolutely incredible. So he's the one person that I'm looking forward to seeing the most.
Sorry, who does Paul Dano play?
Is that his name?
Well, no, because that, if you look at the hair, that's our co-host Ian.
Oh,
Like I know they only show it from behind in the
Wait
first
a
trailer and stuff
second.
like that, but
Bing bong.
yeah, just
Oh,
profile pic there, and yeah,
You know, you're right about that.
yeah.
You ever seen them in the same room together?
No, never ever, man. So I'm telling you, that's where it's at. So Tim and I have been on a year-long reveal
And that's awesome.
to expose him
That's
and his
great,
villainy.
Carl.
That's freaking.
I guess we'll know in a few days, huh?
Our guy Pete's stoked for Oswald
Yeah,
as
well,
always.
I mean,
Kurt
come on,
Cobain,
yeah,
that's
Kurt-
a W in
That's
the comment
awesome,
right there.
Yeah,
Kurt
nice
Cobain.
work,
RCIP,
That is a
Peter.
massive, like,
Yes,
yes.
the Batcat relationship. I know some people haven't watched that trailer, so I won't spoil anything. But she feels like a co-lead of the film, not just a supporting character, which I'm excited for. I'm gonna speak. Okay, I'm done. Zeddy, go ahead.
There you go. Lauren, who are you most hyped to see, or what are you most hyped to see in the Batman?
Oh, I'm 100% most excited for Zoey Kravitz.
He just whispered that.
Did you hear me?
He goes,
Like I'm not blind. I have eyes, and also, I mean, if you watch her other stuff, again, she's one of those. She's a phenomenal actress, and she's one of those actresses that she has really amazing films, and then she also has some misses, like anybody. But she's honestly, I could see her getting her own spinoff movie or series off of this. Like 100%. I haven't even seen the film, and I think she deserves it. So. Really excited to see what she does. And I agree with Nikko. Like, this doesn't just feel like a Batman film. It really does feel like a Batman Catwoman film, which I'm not even the biggest fan of that ship because I actually am still really big on Batman and Talia from the 90s. But it makes sense. It works. I think it's going to slap. It's going to be real fun.
Respect.
Well said. Well said. Emmett, what are you most hyped to see in the movie?
I'm gonna double down what Mr. C said and agree with him about Paul Dano, and it's more because he's the character, the person that we haven't really seen much of in all of the trailers and all the stuff that we've seen. Like we haven't seen his face, which is kind of a strange thing where there's been multiple trailers and there's still no one real shot of his face. Aside from that little bit in that funeral scene, but it's still really far away. So the mystery, the mystery about, who the Riddler is and what he is and what this character is and why it's Edward Nashton and why is it an enigma. And, Paul Dano is an incredible actor. Like Mr. C has no idea how old he is. He just seems like he's been around forever. He's like a Paul Rudd character where he just doesn't age. But he's an incredible actor. And he could be the best one in the whole film, in a film full of great actors. He might be my favorite of the bunch. And I'll agree with Lauren too about Zoey Kravitz. I just started watching High Fidelity, her show on Hulu.
Great show.
She's, I haven't seen her in a whole ton. I didn't watch Big Little Lies or anything. My wife watched that. She said she's really good in that.
Oh yeah.
But seeing, her interpretation of Catwoman is pretty exciting to me. And that's the saying that Jeffrey Wright's Gordon. Andy Serkis is Alfred. And Robert Pattinson's Batman. And the cast of this movie is incredible. So it's hard just to pick a couple because it's weird that I didn't say Batman. It's hard, I didn't say Robert Pattinson's Batman, even though he's an incredible actor, incredible character. It's hard to just pick one, but I would go with Paul Dano just because of the character in general and that we haven't really seen much of him. I want to know why.
Well said. Chris, who or what are you most hyped to see in the Batman?
I'm going to try not to ramble here.
Ramble all you want.
I think it goes without saying, Bruce Wayne's journey as Batman is paramount for me. That's the number one. But also, I am so excited to see Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Yes. I like the Penguin anyway. That's true. But I also love Colin Farrell. And when he got cast, I was expecting kind of like the Emperor Penguin look, that thinner kind of, I don't know, less animal-looking version. And we didn't get that. We got this really cool mobster-looking version of him that is more like the comics. So completely sold on him. Can't wait to see what he does. And then the second thing I'm most excited for, I guess the third other than Batman himself, Gordon. I love Jeffrey Wright. And as soon as he was cast, I kind of thought, okay, that's my Gordon. Because Jeffrey Wright brings something to every role he does. He brings a presence, and he's just really good. So definitely looking forward to him. And also, I want to see the way he interacts with Batman, because I think we're getting a lot of that in this movie. And that's something I love to see in comics, the video games, the cartoons, whatever. Even in the Dark Knight trilogy, that was one of my favorite aspects, was the way Bale's Batman interacted with Oldman's Gordon. So very, very excited to see that.
Hey, real quick, Chris, when he got cast, I was like, oh, they're serious now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It took it to another level for me.
That's how I felt too, because I think he was the second cast, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So I saw I was like, oh, they're going for something different. They want a real actor on this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
I like this.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. I gotta pop out. Sorry to interrupt. I know everybody's going. I have to jet for tonight, but thank you so much for having me on. It was good to see everybody again. Especially Josh and Eric and Adam. I don't see y'all all the time. Carlos, good to see you again.
Good seeing you too.
You're
it's been too long.
As always.
Lauren, we'll be chatting next week about. Well, no, we can't. You're not seeing it for a week. We have to be careful with you.
See you, Lauren.
It's okay.
Bye, Lauren.
Nikko,
Have a great night.
DMs me. Hell no.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you for coming on. Please.
You're a legend.
Have a good
And I
night.
See you
won
on
a
Sunday,
contest.
Lauren.
So I'll really see you.
Yeah.
There you go, Lauren. See? There you go. Bye. All righty. Okay. Eric, what do you the most hype to see out of the Batman?
Honestly, just to be different, I mean, definitely Paul Dano's Riddler is on the tops of my list as well. But just to throw a different, I'm Gotham. I'm interested to see
Straight
how
out.
Gotham is
Straight out.
portrayed in this. Obviously, you know the places where they shot the film, so
Yeah.
you kind of have an idea in your head. But Gotham's always a character in a Batman movie, so you know I'm looking, or even a show. I said famously for last season's Titans being in Gotham City, the show was completely different. So I'm just interested to see how Gotham plays into obviously how it affects everyone in the cast and all the characters and Barry Keoghan's Joker. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know
That's a
anything.
spoiler. That's gonna
Nico's
end up
about to
with-
flip out.
so-
No, I didn't. I don't know anything. I was just playing. I knew that would get you going, so I just threw that in there. Sorry about
He's
that.
frozen.
Come on, no.
He's gonna boot me out of he's gonna kick me out of the room, I think.
No. But I'm with Eric. I've been speculating. I will see. He's my boy. He's my boy. That's a
Hey,
fantastic
real-
actor right there.
Real quick before you're gonna
Yes, I ever know.
Don't ruin the content.
real quick, I just gotta ask this question. Was anybody, you talked about the journey, was anybody disappointed? Like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was disappointed when I found out Affleck was not going to be involved in this thing. Am I the only one here that was like slightly like, ooh?
I mean, no, I was.
No, I was disappointed too.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the only one, but I think a few of you guys, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I would have personally liked him to continue if, you know, because I think in the right circumstance where he was, you know, in the situation where he was going to direct and star, him crafting that movie in his own way, I think he would have done a fine job. So, I mean, disappointing that he was gone.
Yeah.
But by the same token, you know, I when it was announced, when he was like, I'm done, I'm stepping down, that was it. I didn't, you know, cry in a handkerchief. I didn't go online and scream and, you know, kick and scream and some people are still doing that. Unfortunately, it's a situation. I think it would have been cool if he had gotten to make his own thing. It just wasn't meant to be.
And you know, you're right. I wasn't either too. It's not like I dwelled on it for a long time, but there was a level of, I guess, disappointment.
Sure.
But I'll tell you one thing that's made me feel a lot better is when you see, and Ben's moved on, and I've moved on from him, wanting to be Batman, all that stuff. But to hear Pat talk about the role and like just embrace it as he is, talk about how important it is, and how he would love to play it in multiple movies. It's so refreshing to have this guy on board that actually wants to be Batman and be the best Batman. So I think that is like the most exciting thing for me right now.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's just like I just look at it, and from when Affleck first stepped away, he's been with Ana de Armas and he's with Jennifer Lopez now. So I think Ben's all right. Like I think
he's
Ben
doing
would
all right.
gladly
No
pass
doubt.
the cape to Robert and be like, "Yo, bro, I'm good."
Yeah. You
You
just
guys
mentioned the multiverse wives, right, Adam?
Yeah.
I think
Well,
those wives, I think they're part of the multiverse. Too.
Yeah, both of them are on the list. I haven't named them both either, but they're there.
Yeah, he's living his best life, that guy.
He
So.
certainly is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Wonder
the
Bat
real
or
life
Bat in the
Bruce
Cat?
Wayne.
What do you want?
Yeah, the
call him
guy
the real
who's
life
happiest
Bruce Wayne.
about not being in the Batman is Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Let's get back on
No,
track.
I just want to chime in real quick.
Sure. Take your
yeah,
time.
I mean,
Don't be quick.
because of just how good he is as a director, I knew that what we were going to get was probably going to be good. And then when we heard about the Deathstroke thing, and then when you saw Deathstroke in Justice League at the end of the you know, like you saw him, then you're like, oh crap, you know, he looked great. So all of that stuff involved, like you were kind of like, you know, oh, like this would have been great. This could have been great. So yeah, so I was disappointed at first because I actually, despite the movies he's been in, I actually really, really liked his portrayal. So
And we don't get to see Joe Manganiello. I mean,
yeah.
major bummer, you know.
And we don't get to see a script co-written by Blue Hat Snake.
Don't say the name. You're gonna get in trouble with this.
We're gonna get us kicked off YouTube. Let us know. Oh man.
Do it again.
I am happy though that when Reeves came on and he saw the script, he was like, I can't.
He
can't
was
do
like,
this
I'm
script.
staying
This is
far
not
away
something
from
I
Killer
could do."
Croc. That's what he said.
But it's
He's staying away from the reptiles, the snakes. He don't want no part of that.
His comments about it were interesting, though. He said it was like a James Bond type movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting for a Batman film.
Yeah. Right.
If you've read the Earth One graphic novels, everything that we've heard about the Ben Affleck, Jeff Johns Batman script, it sounds like Jeff was pulling a lot from his own work in those films.
Well,
and so, I mean, down to the portrayal of, obviously Zack Snyder chose to do a sort of very Earth Onesian Alfred,
Hey, he's a great writer. I hope I don't offend anybody.
According to Twitter, he has a goat emoji next to his name, so let's put some damn respect on Zack Snyder. Okay. Zeddy,
Hey, I'll
give
put
your
respect. I put respect on Zack Snyder. He's not the person I have issues with, and I'll leave it there. I won't say anything else.
My man. I'm just,
Well
I'm
said.
just messing around. Zeddy, has everyone given takes on this?
I believe
Because
so.
I have a pivot. I have a hard pivot. He doesn't know. Stop. Because, all right, guys, hard pivot. Because we're having fun here. Because I'm always hashtag team content. I will sacrifice great takes for some debauchery. So it is hashtag riddle time. Everyone in the chat and on the screen, you can play along. I will channel my inner Edward Nashton here. Nikko Nashton. I am tall when I am young, and I am short when I am old. What am I?
Tree.
No.
a match.
Eric, you're close, but no.
Candle.
Kristen
Eric
Stewart's
got it.
campaign manager.
Eric got it. So I
Yeah.
will not. So
1 point.
the Riddler is not going to do he's not going to do what he was going to do. But oh my gosh, there's another one. We're going to do 2 more. I shave every day, but my beard stays the same. What am I?
Eric.
Manscaped.
And just for that, that's not the answer, but the Riddler was stopped by the goddamn memory. Fantastic thing to know. I shave every day, but my beard stays the same. What am I?
Come on.
The lawnmower 4.0.
No, but that's a great answer.
No guesses?
You can see the answer.
I
so I'm
can't
saying
see it
that.
on my glasses.
Manscaped. Pete, that's a great response. Hashtag shout out
said
to
it.
them.
20% off.
What's
Free
he doing?
shipping. Gotham.
I want to
Go
see he's
ahead.
at work.
Pete, you can't come on.
Yo, Pete, hop on here, dog.
Put the calzone down.
Would anyone like
He's in that calzone.
No, he did not like
You
it.
don't
He
like
is
the
not
calzone?
coming back to the calzone. Does anyone have a guess, or should I just say it?
What is it?
I shave every day, but my beard doesn't change.
I shave every day, but my beard stays the same.
I have one, but it's not appropriate. So go ahead, continue.
Can you put it in the private chat for us to see? Thank you, sir. Okay. I shave every day, but my beard stays the same. What am I?
Nobody knows.
A barber, because he shaves people every day.
Oh.
A family just died in Gotham, thanks to you guys. All right, last one. What's up? Jacob, my man. Who is that? Talia Shire.
Oh,
That's Adrian.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was Andrew.
No, that's like-
What are you
Oh,
talking
man.
about?
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Go, Andrew.
Adrian, it's
Wait,
Connie.
last one.
She's
Yeah.
Last one.
Oh,
Last
Jesus
one.
Christ.
What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it?
Twitter.
heart.
Twitter, stop.
A heart.
Not a heart.
bone.
I feel like a heart should be an acceptable answer, but it's not. What can you break even if you never pick up
The internet?
or touch it?
a bone.
No.
An
These are
Oscar?
good wait, these are good answers.
Yeah.
Any last minute guesses? My heart, Jacob. We will never break your heart. Not Jacob. Never.
Never.
It is. Any guesses?
chops. No, okay.
No. It is a promise, which is also a great Def Leppard song, Promises. You cannot break, or you can break a promise without touching it or picking up. That has been hashtag riddle time with Nikko Nashton. We'll see you later.
That's fine.
And by later, I mean in about 15 minutes.
Oh, we have
Carry on,
pauses?
Mr.
This is a
Zeddy.
pause.
It's fun the puns. Zeddy used to do the puns.
Yes, I have taken over as the
Taken
comedy
over, yeah.
content man. Someone had to do it. I will take on
Oh, first he's a campaign manager. Now he's a pun master.
a
Oh, man.
successful. Oh, hold on. Now I have to talk about it.
Oh Jesus!
A successful Eric knows that it's a brilliant film, and he was just being a hater today.
Terrible movie.
As Kristen Stewart's campaign manager, I have now successfully ran one Oscar campaign. She is nominated. We won.
Yeah, but if she doesn't win, you fail.
No, because it was to get the nomination.
And
Turn
she's
up.
gonna win.
Turn up. Yee,
Movie is
turn up.
so bad.
Yee.
Oh.
Hashtag it is not so bad. It is high art.
It's terrible.
It was a top 16 movie of the year. Don't even. And now we're gonna talk about show what?
She'll be in the sequel.
She,
probably.
that's. Hold on. Now I gotta talk about this.
Poison Ivy. No, I'm kidding.
Segues. Listen,
She will be in the sequel.
The Princess Diana sequel? I don't
they've
think. No.
they've messed up in Hollywood by never
what?
really, truly, in a massive way, reuniting Leo and Winslet. They must reunite Robert Pattinson, K-Stu.
They
hate
have
each other.
they have reunited Leo and Winslet.
Well, not in like a massive way like Batman.
Yeah, they didn't. What's the movie?
Revolutionary Road.
Yeah.
And they did
Yeah,
it again,
Wasn't it
right?
an Oscar movie?
They've done it twice.
Oh my God, you're so off.
They
Most
don't like each other though.
Here's
Like,
the
Hashtag restore
No,
the Titanic.
no, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm saying in like a massive commercial
A
way.
franchise.
cheated on him with the director,
Like Twilight was huge, and now Batman's huge. It's the perfect.
and now she's. I don't know.
They got too
Oh.
much baggage because they,
They do.
actually
They have a
dated,
ton of
right?
baggage.
That's
Yeah.
the difference between them and Kate and Leo.
He's happy with Zoe. Let him be. Let him be.
Yeah, he's already got two
Yeah,
girls.
the
in the movie
Batmobile's
right
only got enough room for two. You start at
You
three, like,
drive an
this-
Affleck's tank if that's the
It's
case.
not the
You need more
Tumblr,
room than
goddammit.
that
It's
thing.
the
What about Kristen Stewart for Poison Ivy and a Harley Quinn
I
sequel?
see.
Oh, just make her Vicky Vale and be done with it. Jesus Christ. No harm, no foul.
She could be the girl he missed it in the second film. He gets all messed up because he tries to save her and she dies. So he's upset about it. And
I literally
that way,
said
there's
like
screen times like that.
I said like a young Leslie Tompkins.
Well, that's going to be Nicole Kidman. She's going to be an older
But why
version
would
of
they?
Leslie
But then
Tompkins.
they wouldn't date because that'd be weird.
You know what? Bringing up Leo and Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet would be a great Leslie Tompkins.
That's
That
a
would be a that would be a
I'd
good
be
choice.
all right with that. Yeah.
I always get this.
The Mayor of Easttown.
What, she's not on the list, Adam? Come on.
Mayor of Easttown
Oh,
is
Nicole
For her age.
Who you talking
good.
about?
I enjoyed that immensely.
Who you asking? Who's on the list?
Kate Winslet.
Kate
Come
Winslet?
on.
Well, she's
Yeah.
that's a Hall of Fame list. It's a different list.
So,
Now we're getting into two. Now you're asking me to pull out the Hall of Fame list. I can't. That's a Patreon exclusive. That's not.
It was actually on that note, it was actually quite amazing how like normal they made Kate Winslet look in Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because she's a very like she's got a very like particular like old school movie star kind of look, but she is a very glamorous woman in real life. And they really in Mayor of Easttown, like she just looks like still a beautiful woman, but just like an average, like
Matthew.
woman in town,
There you go.
And I don't like J-Lo as a cop, that's for sure.
Like
For
any,
sure.
like a, are you trying to say like an East Coast woman? What did Ted say from the Ted? No, we don't want to talk about that.
We cannot say those.
We
quotes
cannot
on
say
the
with
air.
Ted.
Cannot say.
Has
those
anyone seen the
quotes.
movie Ted?
Ted?
Oh, yeah.
Ted
Oh,
the
yeah.
teddy bear.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
not appropriate for this show.
Yeah, that is not appropriate.
You got guts. I'm promoting you. So Zeddy, save this, please. We
Yeah,
got
I was gonna
about-
say, so,
I think
you
we
know,
got
as-
about I think we got about a nice 20 before we wrap up for the post game.
Thank you for giving me a time limit. I appreciate that, brother.
You're
brother
welcome,
Nashton.
sir.
I
Because
appreciate
now
that.
I'm not the content manager. Now I'm the manager.
Well, as the associate producer, we will go on for as long as the people want to go on. Well, okay, as Chase Meridian's campaign manager here, because
There
she
you
will
go.
be winning the Oscar in 2 months. Here.
Aquaman's mom. Yeah.
Aquaman's mom will be taking home another trophy. Mark my words here. So I want to shift gears back over to Chris, and I want to know, obviously, with the exception of what the MCU is doing, the Batman clearly looks the most different from what the MCU is different. So, can we accept another non-linear connective universe like the Batman in this modern age of connected universe storytelling. What do you think?
I think we can because again, Batman is different. Batman doesn't need anybody. And when it comes to the solo films, especially, people don't. I don't think anybody's really clamoring to see him with anybody. Like I like seeing him with other heroes, sure, but if I'm getting a solo Batman movie, I'm pretty happy just seeing Batman do his thing. And I think other people will be too, especially when you watch it. I mean, none of us have seen it, obviously, but watching it, it probably doesn't feel like you need other characters there. Will it hurt it long term? Maybe, but I think with just this movie, we'll be fine. Let's see how it goes. And not everybody wants. I think people do like the shared universe. I really believe they do. They like that connectivity. They like to be involved in them, but that doesn't mean you can't have these one shots. And also, WB is doing something kind of smart. Whether I like what they're doing or not, they are doing something smart where they're splintering the universes, where you can have your cake and eat it too on the other side. Yeah. So I think it's fine.
Do you mind if I jump in here really, Zeddy? Because I have a point about this. I think that what Warner Brothers is doing is quite brilliant. Because I don't think that a shared DC universe necessarily works without Batman. A shared DC universe needs Batman in there. But, like Chris mentioned, the Batman movies seem to work better without any other characters. And so what Warner Brothers is doing is they're bringing in a legacy version of the character and letting that be the Batman of the DCEU. And then, the solo stories can continue without any interference from other characters. So I think it's really brilliant. And also, too, on the DCEU side, we're going to get the Bat family, which is cool. We've never seen that before, like fully fleshed out. And so I'm really excited for that. I'm excited about Batgirl and others potentially. So, yeah.
Well said. Emmett, what do you think?
I think it depends on the utilization of other said Batman, like how long Michael Keaton goes on for. What happens with the Batgirl? What happens with the Bat family outside of the Reeves verse? I think it also depends what happens with the Reeves verse too. If we actually get that Gotham TV show, or if we actually get a Catwoman HBO Max show that's rumored, or if the Oswald thing happens with Colin Farrell. I think it depends on a lot of things, and it probably easily depends on how good the Batman is. One thing about the Batman is we've had a lot of different versions of them over the years, and it would be a bummer if we were just to keep restarting again. If Pattinson does 2-3 movies, and then we're just going to restart all over again, or if he doesn't do 2 to 3 movies and he only does 1, and then we just restart over again. So the idea of how the universes work together, because they both have to work for it to work. You can't have the Keaton thing not work with people, because then what are you going to do? You can't. Reeves or Pattinson won't want to do the crossover things. Reeves doesn't want him to do the crossover thing. So the Keaton thing has to work, and I think the Pattinson thing has to work too for it all to work.
Well said. Carlos, what do you think?
Well said.
To be honest, I kind of fall in between where Chris and Josh are. Like, I think they're in an ideal spot because they have a version and a set of characters that you get a kind of auteur, higher quality type of movie and universe out of it, where they've got HBO Max projects that are seemingly on the precipice of moving forward and going into active production and stuff like that. Like Colin Farrell was talking about his, and Matt Reeves was talking about the GCPD thing and stuff like that. So I do think that at least one, or if not both, are happening. So that's ideal. And then in the DC Universe side of things, you've now put yourself in a position where all the other characters can shine without having to worry about a Batman, and B, BOF's favorite topic. How do you bring a Batman into this fantastical world and have him be a viable and somewhat realistic entity there? Because you kind of don't need him, right? And so either you have everything predicated on him or nothing. So having this version where he's going to be, mentoring younger heroes and kind of be more Bat family focused, that'll allow you to allow a Wonder Woman and a Blue Beetle, and to have your Henry Cavill Superman really take the spotlight, right? And The Rock's Black Adam bringing all these other characters to the forefront. But then you're not going to be missing Batman because you got all the patents and stuff going on in the background. And like we say on our show all the time, character over continuity. So if you're telling awesome, compelling stories in the Reeves verse, you'll have a group of fans that are in for that. And some of those same people will be like, this DCEU stuff is really cool too. And yeah, everybody wins type of thing. So I think it's perfect. And I think like Marvel Studios did a lot of the heavy lifting to put people in a position where they kind of get it right. And then nobody's going to be confused, I don't think. Right. And as long as you're telling stories and giving people movies and shows that they enjoy, they'll show up. Right. Not a single person on this screen was like, yes, I need a Peacemaker solo show. But every single person on this screen, as far as I know, loved it. And if you didn't, unfollow me.
Oh man, Crusoes, what do you guys think on that matter?
What was the question?
Can the Batman be successful?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Nice.
we're gonna find out this year. I mean, again, I firmly believe this first movie is gonna be just a blockbuster, and then, like Chris says, we're gonna have the best of both worlds, because then we're gonna get, I guess, Affleck saying goodbye, Keaton saying hello, and we'll see how that all works out. And I mean, the audience will tell us. They generally will drive what WB does, but I have no problem with it. Having Keaton back with everybody is great. And what I want them to do with Pattinson is I want them to create their own Bat universe that's just centric on that. You don't have to worry about bringing people in. I know people are like, could they bring a Superman in with Pattinson? I would leave that world alone. I would let that thrive, carry on for the next decade with 2, maybe 3, 4 more movies, introduce all the characters, and then give us everything on the other side. I'm in.
So all this is really cool, because I think while there was so much, turmoil and turnover that happened from 2017 until now, which led us here, in a way, it kind of ended up being a blessing, right? Because on one hand, you have this really awesome solo Batman, which is not only going to please solo Batman fans, but like Carlos said, it's so director driven. It looks so artistic. And yet at the same time, it looks like a really awesome comic booky Batman story. So I think you're going to get something special in these 3 films with this talent and these cast of characters that honestly, I'm going to say it. I'm feeling Lord of the Rings. I'm feeling a Lord of the Rings aura coming from this. 3 films, really special. Maybe even going back to the Nolan stuff, like a really special trilogy that's respected by the public and the industry as a whole. It genuinely feels that way. Because what first movie, besides Fellowship of the Ring and the new technology in James Cameron's Avatar, what first movie in a potential trilogy gets 3 hours? It took Quentin Tarantino 6-7 films to get that 3-hour runtime. Like, there is respect. It's labeled as an artisan film under AFC. Or AFC. AMC.
AFC.
KFC. I just, my man.
I can use some KFC right now.
Right?
I'd go for it. Yeah.
So that's on one end. On the other end, in a way, having Keaton back is effing brilliant, because in a very different way than Toby and Andrew, who came back to serve Tom Holland's story and create this massive masterpiece of a Spider-Man story for the fans and for the character, you're bringing arguably the guy who started it all and a legend in the making. Well, he already is one, but when you think about him coming back to not just cameo, to shepherd the DC films and these heroes going forward, because that's truly what I believe he is, whether on a small scale with the Gotham characters or a big scale, the Justice League characters. Bringing Keaton back to do that is an amazing full circle thing that we have not really seen. The sequel trilogy in Star Wars tried to do it, but the way they spread out those 3 characters and they came in and out, and Han Solo died, we have yet to see someone come back and be the guy. It's not a spoiler. They're like Han Solo. Dude, if you haven't seen Force Awakens, it's 2022.
Yeah, I think
My
it's
dear
I
Lord,
think
have
we're
mercy.
good with Force Awakens.
We've seen Luke come back as a CGI. I mean, it's far past that. But then to have Keaton come back and shepherd this whole thing and have a bunch of fans learn who he is, and to like for someone like Adam and Emmett, like to bring back this, and for you to like bring back this Batman and all you guys on screen to be so iconic. It's amazing that there's these two things going on at once. And we're going to see how this plays for the general audience. I do think it's going to work. Do I think there will be a little bit of a learning curve from next week until November? I do think there's going to be, maybe past November. Maybe it'll take till we get to Batgirl, which looks fantastic, by the way. When we get to Batgirl, maybe that'll be it. But man, so on one hand, we have like this really artistic, creative-driven cinema. And then we have one of the GOATs of all time coming back to steer the DC films in this shared world. It literally is like Hannah Montana. It's the best of both freaking worlds. Cue Miley Cyrus.
She'd be in the DCU.
Nah, I don't want her in the DCU. No disrespect. She's not much of an actress anymore. Not much of an actress anymore.
She could be Magpie.
That's a great pull.
That wouldn't be bad.
Wow.
Sure, if we're going off the
For like
show.
a cameo.
And I will say this, you heard it here first. I do believe the Batman will get at least an Academy Award nomination for cinematography and an Academy Award nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. If Logan can do it, I know I haven't seen this movie yet, but it feels like it. That's my take. You heard it here first. At least 2 Oscar nominations.
Can I add to that? I think it's going to get a third nomination for the score. I haven't heard it yet.
Oh,
the score is
talent.
Yeah.
I'll raise you.
I'm
a
not listening
four.
till the movie.
Why is Gamora? I'm gonna say, I'll raise you one. Let's do it. Best Picture.
I think it could get Best Picture. If it's good, they're gonna give it to it because that's the reason we have 10 Oscar nominations now, is they failed to give The Dark Knight Best Picture.
Yeah, I agree with Josh, and also with their ratings cratering, it just like the timing is good for them. It's like you have this artisan certified film. Yeah, it's easy math for the
It's
Academy.
already Best Picture for me.
I'll raise Adam one. Global phenomenon.
Better. I want to hashtag. I want to make a turkey. I want to take a picture of Batman Year One in the background. The whole thing. I'll sign up to Vero just to do that. Just to piss people off. No,
You heard it here first. If it gets a Best Picture nomination, Adam will post.
I'll
on
sign
Vero.
up to Vero. I'll take a picture of a turkey, the whole 9 yards, everything. But no, just to answer the questions, if I could. Do I think the solo unconnected aspect can work? Yes, and I have several reasons. The Joker is one. Nobody was asking where's Ben Affleck in that movie or whoever the hell was Batman at the time. I don't remember.
Awesome point, man.
The other thing too is that and people can have ranging opinions on this particular movie, but Venom up until a month ago had no connections to anything MCU, and that almost made it. The first one almost made $1 billion, right?
I know.
So that's proof of the pudding for that. As for this splintered, we have the solo Reeves verse and Keaton coming back. I'm biased. Keaton coming back, like I was telling you guys before we started, I saw the picture he shared with his shadow, and literally talking about turning 6 again. For a second, I turned into a 6-year-old. So I'm over the moon about him coming back because he's the first Batman I saw on the big screen, and so that's a special thing for me. But a lot of the concern and the issue that we're seeing are I think spring from several things. One is the fact that people are making a lot of assumptions about what Michael Keaton's job is in this returning role as Batman. Like they're assuming, we're going to get another 3 Justice League movies and he's going to be at the center of that, or what's he doing? Like, here's what I keep trying to tell people before they overly judge something is we have to see The Flash before we can assess what Michael Keaton's role is actually going to be going forward in Batgirl and potentially beyond. Pun not sort of and not intended at the same time. But so we have to see the friggin' thing. We can't just assume that there's going to be, he's going to be leading the Justice League. And regarding him in Flash and Batgirl, like I hate to break it to people, and I know there people love Affleck and BDS, and that's great, but I just want to caution people. Remember that that warehouse scene that we all love that think it's the best. Some people think it's the best Batman fight scene we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Guess who did that? Richard Citron. It wasn't Ben Affleck.
Don't you dare.
Why do you got to do that to me, Adam?
But it's true. No,
I know.
No, hold on, wait. I get
The
that
close-ups are
Ben
Ben Affleck. Go ahead, continue.
No, it's Ben Affleck's Batman. I get it. I'm not disputing that it's not. But the guy who did all the, most of the motions was him. So you can get some stunt performer, and they're very valuable assets to film, obviously.
Sure.
If Keaton can't do certain things, insert stunt person here. So it's like, if that's the worry, that's one worry taken care of right there. Like if your desire is to see Michael Keaton's Batman kick ass, don't worry. I'm sure the stuntman is going to help you get that. And then, with film technology and cuts and certain things, we can suspend disbelief and pretend that it's 70-year-old Batman kicking somebody's ass. So, that I'm not worried about. But in terms of what his role is going to be, we've got to wait and see the Flash. And am I assuming that he's going to be the de facto leader of the Justice League? No, because if you're asking me what I think his ultimate role is going to be, if I'm just putting my let me assume hat on, I'm more inclined to believe that Keaton is there to set up and mentor the Bat family of characters more so than he is to let's carry the torch for 2 or 3 more Justice League movies. That's my personal feeling on it. And if that's what he's there for, brilliant, because the more Bat family we can see, the better. And I don't think we're going to see every Bat family member in Reeves' series, and that's fine. So that's where I'm at.
I hear you. Well said, brother. It's all good.
Well said.
So Zeddy, the question was, can the Batman be successful without a universe, right?
Yes.
All right, because you guys gave a lot of different things that I'm not really sure that was what you answered. but I think it's going to be regardless. And mostly because, like I said, going back to my article and stuff and the research I did and just how much that's changed in this time. People want this film now. So you're going to have this movie exist. We got that sizzle reel too that showed him and with all those other characters that aren't connected. And I don't think people care anymore. I think people know Marvel is what Marvel does, and they know that. They've been trained for that now for the past 10 years. They also know that what happened with the DCEU, at least with the Snyder portion of it, didn't work. They know Affleck's not involved anymore, at least past the Flash, whatever happens. So I think that they're going to know, okay, Pattinson's Batman, this Batman universe, Reeves' universe, whatever they do with the HBO Max shows and however many sequels this thing gets, I think everyone's going to be on board after they see the movie. So, and yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Batman's kind of the draw. And I was doing this article and just seeing everything come full circle now. He clearly still is the draw. Him and Spider-Man, obviously, they're the 2 draws. So, yeah, this is going to work. And just because you have someone great, a director like Reeves is running it, and he has a clear vision, and he's gonna be the guy who oversees everything on HBO Max too. Like, this is his baby, so whatever they do, people are gonna know it's his. So I think for that alone, it's gonna be successful.
Good point.
Well said. Well said. So real quick here, because our guy Emmett here has to actually jet out. So Emmett, before you leave us, man, thanks for joining us. Of course, we hope you love and enjoy the movie when you get a chance to see it. But plug where people can find you, brother.
I just want to say thanks to the Vigilante Boys for bringing me on. You guys are the best. Love you guys. Thanks, Carlos, Chris, Adam, Eric, Josh. Thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure, man.
Emmett,
Thank you.
Yeah, take care, Emmett.
let's say wow.
I want to, buddy.
You will.
Thank you.
Hey, wow, brother.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Emmett. All right. So, who hasn't answered the question yet?
First off,
I think you're the only one that hasn't answered.
I want to commend Eric. He's a journalist, a scientist. It's a shame that one man possesses so many skills.
How am I a
Eric is the
scientist?
blueprint, really. If
I'm
you
a
think
You
about
are
it.
the
scientist?
blueprint. He is the blueprint.
He won the snowman building
He
competition.
won the snowman building competition in
Yep.
1956.
Oh wow. Pumpkin pie eating
Yeah,
competitions.
it's amazing.
Man, Pete knows more about my life than I do.
He
though.
can't
Everything I
talk
to
to the post-Batman world guy.
If you
Yeah.
know, you know. If you know, you
If you know, you know. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
All I
Also,
want.
Wait, I don't know.
also, wait. There was a story we
Who is
missed
it?
here. Please tell me that Chris Jansen is still
Don't
here.
worry,
Hold
He
on.
is.
Watch
He
this
is.
story. Part 1, huge change of pace. Standing
He
in
got his
my living
bug.
room. Part 2, table trying to get a bug in my light. Part 3, in the light on the fan. Part 4, trying to listen to the show and the wife is asking me to get rid of the fucking thing. Part 5, holy shit, somehow caught the bug. Part 6, that's Batman shit. Part 7, to all that are concerned, the bug is safe outside.
That's great.
You know what we said, Chris? We never said thank you, but we'll
That
never
was
have
incredible.
to. Okay, wait, but kind of felt like Peacemaker. Wait, he's still going. He's still going. Legendary. Okay, now continue, everyone. Sorry.
Yeah.
Adam, keep going. You had a thought. You had a thought.
You know what I want, and it just has to be a small visual cue in the background of Oswald's office. A little duck, just for Rick Shoe.
a little
Just
duck.
so we could, just that's
For
all
Rick?
I want.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just for Rick, because I know he loves the duck, and he's heartbroken over the fact that there's no longer a giant duck. So, for Rick, do it for Rick, and I
Oh,
mean somewhere.
I'm gonna be seeing all of
For
them
Rick.
in less than a
For
week.
Rick.
Less than a week.
Is he going to be wearing his sandals to the premiere? Because I know he's.
Oh,
a
I'm
sandal
sure.
guy.
I'm
Okay.
sure Rick will be wearing a pair of
Yeah,
sandals
release,
at some point.
Release the sandal pictures. Hashtag.
Yes.
I'm
Hashtag
not
that.
sandals.
Or his
I'm
loafers
not a
without his
sandal
socks.
guy.
Yeah.
I can't do sandals.
Yeah, well,
I don't like open-toed shoes.
where
It
we live,
bothers
it's
me.
kind of weird here.
Well, yeah, but even in like summer, like I wear socks to the beach and the pool with slides. You'll never
Yeah,
catch me.
that-
in
As long as
open-toed
you don't
because
go
you're
in the
young.
pool with your socks, you're good.
No, of course not. But you won't catch me in open-toed shoes.
You're young. That's why. That's what young people do.
I'm above that.
I'm a
Rise above the influence. Stay in school.
right?
Zeddy, I got a riddle to wrap us up here.
Wrap it up.
Ready? So it's hashtag riddle time one more time, unless someone else wants to share something. Actually, Zeddy, give your take first while I find the riddle.
Yeah, answer the question.
I do think it's going to be telling. I do think it all just depends on, I guess, how the first movie is well received. I do think both can coexist, but it's just going to depend on whether or not, the general audience is going to understand what DC is doing. Obviously, solo Batman has, in the past, historically worked relatively well, so I don't think it'll be an issue whether or not people will be into it. I'm just more curious about the connected side, whether or not people are going to want more over the other, I think is where I'm falling in line. But I got no issues with that. The Batman isn't going to be successful as a series of films or spinoffs. I think it's going to fall in line of whether people are going to care for one or the other or both. I think that's where it depends, because the MCU is one whole existing thing, right? There's no confusion what is the MCU and what isn't the MCU. Well, aside from the Sony stuff, but they actually may be folding that into the fold now, so there may be no confusion. So it's interesting what DC is doing. I'm going to be optimistic and say I think the power of Keaton's going to be big for one side of people. I think Pattinson's going to be a nice fresh take for
Almost
a good
20
majority of people, and then I think Affleck's going to bid adieu for the people that love this take. So I'm hoping everything comes full circle. I'm hoping everything's good, and I'm hoping that the people that get paid much higher than I do understand what they're doing. So that's what I care about.
Yeah, give me the money, then I'll figure it out for them. Until then, it's their problem, not mine.
I would like to think that they learned some hard mistakes, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they went to the school of hard knocks. So that's what honestly that's what gives me the optimism. Because they learned some tough lessons,
You're right.
and everything that we have coming out this year has taken a lot of time to get here. The
Yes.
Batman has taken a long time.
Yes.
Flash
Everything.
took a long time.
Everything.
Black Adam took a long time. Like, ironically, Aquaman is the thing that you could say was
Crazy,
rushed.
right?
It
But
still took 4 years.
yeah, exactly. So I think that there was a lot of time and thought put into everything we see this year. Exactly. Faith, Alfred.
That's right.
Faith.
Here's what I'll say, gentlemen. a week from now, let's friggin' party because we just saw the greatest thing ever. That's what I hope, man. That's
Amen
really
to that.
I hope.
Spider-Man
I'm
movie
full
we've
swap.
ever
Yeah,
seen.
I'm looking to jump onto a table. I'm looking to do a lot of stuff. I'm looking to Kristen Stewart reaction to the max. But I have one more riddle, guys.
I
Hashtag.
thought he was going to say I was going to jump on a table with Kristen Stewart. I said, "Where are you going with this? This is PG-13. I don't know where he's going with this."
It's not the after show yet, Adam.
Oh, okay, all right. Just checking. Yeah.
That's when it happens. But here's the thing. Here's my last riddle. All right. Who are absolutely incredible friends, wonderful podcasters, and individuals who we at the Vigilante 1939 are extremely thankful for. Everyone on this screen and the listeners as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It's been an honor. We started the show complaining and then being optimistic about Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves, and it's here. 3.5 years later, we got some awesome friendships on the screen and in the comments. So, Zeddy, I don't know how to bring us home, but you do.
Oh man, I guess let's just I want everybody to know where everybody can find you guys. So first and foremost, like Nikko said,
Just
thank
put
you
up
all
our
for
tags.
joining us. And I know, thank you. And thank you to the comment section too. You guys were pretty chatty the whole way through. That is much appreciated. You guys are awesome. So thank you guys. And for people that are gonna watch in the replay,
Here's my dog.
comment down below. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. Want to plug that, and then subscribe so you don't miss anything. That would be much appreciated. But before we get on out of here, I want everybody to plug all your social media, Twitter handles, and where everybody can find your podcast at, because they're all amazing. So, Chris, I'm going to start off with you. Where could everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at thatchris70, but I'd prefer you guys follow the new podcast that I do with my buddy Emmett Davis at G of the Geeks.
All right. And Adam, where could everybody follow you?
On Twitter at Adam_LeafsFan, and then YouTube we have the Multiverse Musings Vidcast Network, where I've got the main show for DC content is the DC Comics Chronicles. We've had the Carusos on. Nick, we did something with you, Power Rangers related. So if you're into that, come check it out. Chris, we did a Moon Knight show on the Marvel side of the equation. Josh, you and I cover Batman the Animated Series. Eric, we'll have you back on again with one of my same co-hosts and not the other one that way back then.
Wait,
Carlos, if we can get you on, we'd love to have you on as well. But that's where you can find me.
we can't plug yet, Zeddy, because we got Javi. We got Javi before the after show. Javi, come on, hold on.
I saw Nico's face. I'm like,
What a post-credit scene.
Oh,
They will not stop.
Surprise
Zeddy,
cameo. Amazing.
You let Javi have the floor with whatever.
It does
he wants,
exist.
right? Javi, how are you, my friend?
good, man. How are you fellas doing?
Dude, we're doing great.
Excellent.
Even better now that you're on here. So
Oh, thanks, brother.
we're gonna speed round you some questions before we hang out a little bit. So hopes and expectations for the Batman.
Oh man. I mean, I hope it's the greatest Batman movie I've ever seen. There's so many good Batman movies, Batman 89, Mask of the Phantasm, the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, if it's on that level, then I mean, I'm going to be happy to begin with. If it's iconic and it already is proving to be, then I think we're going to be in for a big treat.
Man, well said. Well said. Is there anything you're worried about?
I mean, outside of, not living up to the movie I'm building in my mind. I mean, based on the trailers, everything looks great. What I've heard of the score is phenomenal. The only thing I'm like worried about is we've got tickets to see it in IMAX, which is the same theater that we saw Batman v Superman in. So I'm worried about any kind of like residual jinx. I mean, because when I walked out of BVS, I thought it was amazing. I'm like, Civil War isn't going to be able to touch this movie. And then, the real world saw everything and told me how awful the movie was.
Well, the
even though
real
I still
world
love
sucks.
it. Exactly.
I want to ask
So,
you. We did something else funny too at one point. I'm not sure if you saw, but we took a vote on if you had the Little Caesars Batman calzone. Have you had it?
Twice.
Okay, is it a yay or a nay for you?
I'm gonna give it a yay.
Holy
I
shit.
mean, it's Little Caesars, so for Little Caesars, it's a yay. It's not my favorite pizza. The first time I went, I didn't know there was a poster, so I missed out. And the second time, I was just too lazy and had it delivered, so no poster again. So hopefully, third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. Okay, so it's an even 6v6. How do you like that? So instead of BVS Dawn of Justice, it's 6v6 Dawn of Little Caesars.
You know what? I'll tip the scales. I'll just say this. I haven't tried it, but it's a pizza shaped like the bat symbol. How bad can it really be? Yeah.
Adam, you'd be surprised.
You know what? You need to try it, and then you'll see. It's really disgusting.
Is it the Batman and Robin of pizzas? Is that
It's
what
not.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, Eric, don't you have a place up by you? Pete puts it up once in a while where they do like a bat logo on the pizza. With
No,
black
that's
olives.
by him in New Jersey.
It's black olives, right?
Yeah, the pizza place he goes to, they know he likes Batman, so he asked them to, and they actually made it for him. They put like banana peppers for the yellow oval, and then they use black olives for the bat symbol, and it looks fantastic. He's posted it before. It looks fantastic.
So Pete's the king of New Jersey?
He is king of New Jersey.
Wow.
And real quick, before we all hang out here, Javi, last question for you. We all went around and kind of talked about an aspect or a character or something else in the movie that we're excited for specifically from an individual standpoint. So some people said score, some people said a character, some people talk about the detective element, some people talk about visuals. Where are you like, what's the one thing where you're like, I'm really interested to see this one specific thing?
I'm a pretty big Bat-Cat shipper.
There he is.
So I'm looking forward to that. But even more so, like over the last year or two with lockdown, like I've watched a ton of movies with my kids. Now that they're more of a mature age and can handle stuff. So it's just the last year or two has made me very, reminiscent of stuff. And when we got to see Seven, when I watched Seven with them for the first time, and just putting myself in that place of like, we had the Schumacher movies and it was a detour from what Burton was doing, and just seeing Seven, like, man, I wish they would make a Batman movie like this. Just one of these days, someone's got to do it. And while Nolan definitely brought it to a more grounded level, like it doesn't have like that Fincher feel. And the second that we had that Fandom trailer with the duct tape, and I mean that felt like Seven to me. And so going back to your earlier question about expectations, if we can somehow capture like just a quarter of what Fincher brought to that movie, I'm going to be over the moon with the Batman.
Dude, one of the best movies ever, dude. Seven. He knows how much I love Seven. I talk about it on Twitter.
How old
dude.
were you when you watched it?
Dude, he showed me Seven when I was like
3.
I wasn't 3.
Jesus.
He showed me Seven when I was like 12, and that
Oh, that's
along
not
with The Dark Knight. So like The Dark Knight made me understand like it was such a great movie, but then really Seven and The Departed were like the movies that made me like the film buff I am now. So Javi, what a call with Seven. I watch Seven probably twice a year. There's nothing wrong in that film.
No.
There's only one scene I have to get up and walk out for, and I'll tell you after because I'm squeamish when it comes to certain stuff. But man, Seven, and you're right, man. Right away, like this movie has that Fincher feel to it with those Reeves visuals, and there's enough Batman fantastical stuff in it that I think we're in for a treat. And man, what an ending cameo after credit for Javi coming in with these takes, glorious takes. Javi, we said earlier, I interrupted at one point and I said it should be illegal for a show, and hopefully you get to go back and watch, but it should be illegal for a show that had this many beautiful takes on it. Like, man, like you don't find this on podcasts. It's mainly people just arguing if that's going to be Henry Cavill returning or not, or if it's a global phenomenon or not. So Zeddy,
Javi should have came in with just a shadow. That would have
just a
That's
shadow.
right. Come on.
We had to guess if it was him or not.
Yeah.
But Zeddy, we're gonna hang out for a bit after. But you wrap us here again. Take 2. But man, Javi was the best last minute addition here. Thank you so much. I know you recorded a long show tonight, so thank you for even coming on for a few minutes.
Of course, man. I love you guys.
Talk to us. Love you too,
man.
brother. So glad to have you. So glad. To have you
like
on
Superman, Javi's always around. Come on now.
He's always around. It's like car keys. I always have them. I never lose them.
Oh
Like, that's
man.
mine on me.
Oh, Josh, thank you so much for joining us, brother, and plug away where everybody can find you and where your show is at.
Sure. So you can follow me personally at Super Secret Josh. To be honest, that's where I post most of my stuff. So you can follow me there, but you can also follow me at my show now at Super Secret HQ _. We have the new season on right now. I'm going to have Eric is confirmed. Adam is confirmed. And potentially Justin Kowalski is confirmed. We're going to do a Batman post show. So don't miss that on the Tuesday after Batman comes out. So we'll do a live show. I'll also post a podcast, but announcing it here. So that'll be fun. That's going to be the next episode. And yeah, you can catch me with Adam on Back to the Batcave on his podcasting network. And we do that show together. We just recorded a new episode. And we're going through Batman the Animated Series, and it's a lot of fun.
Chris Jansen, come on, man, come on, man.
I didn't even know he had a new movie.
Man, I didn't know there was a new one. Christian, man, we love you. Thank you so much.
That franchise must be a global phenomenon. How many sequels does it have?
Yo.
Good luck, man.
Hey,
Tyler
both
Perry
of you,
knows
it's
what's
just
up,
They had
man.
the success that Tyler Perry has with the
Yes,
the
he has his
Medina
own
movies.
studio.
Talk about a connecting universe. I mean,
Unbelievable.
Tyler Perry is the blueprint. What can you say?
He is the blueprint. Seriously.
Tyler Perry can seriously be great in some movies. Like he randomly turns in really good performances.
right? Yeah. Really
Yep.
He's
Gone
good.
Girl.
And then he goes and beats
Yeah.
Baxter Stockman in the Ninja Turtles movie.
Yep, and then he has those. You're correct.
We don't speak of those here. We do not speak of those here. All right, Carlos, plug away the goddamn Batman because you got some crime fighting to do, don't you, sir?
Yeah, well, yeah, my hashtags or my usernames on the screen there at Canadian Cape Crusader. You can always find me on Twitter, but the best place to find takes if you liked mine tonight is on the Nerd Room podcast, and there's a link to our show in my bio, and follow the Nerd Room YouTube page. We're doing some cool stuff there and some unboxings and stuff, and quite honestly, wherever you find the Vigilante 1939, you find us. So V the Nerd. So check us out there.
Well said. Eric, Mr. Long Island, where can
Mr. Manscaped.
The piano man.
Yes. Yeah, get 20% off and free shipping by using code Gotham at manscaped.com. Okay, do you guys see my name there? Finally 33, spell Finale 33 on Twitter. The show I'm on with Pete Vera, who also hosts the Italians for Spidey with the Crusos. At straight__G. Check us out on Facebook. I have a new podcast coming soon about the New York Knicks with a couple of my Knick fan buddies. So we'll be doing that one painfully, but we will be doing that one coming up, coming soon. And yeah, just I usually put some crazy takes out on my Twitter feed, so you guys can find them there and just argue with me because sometimes I do it on purpose.
Spencer is a good movie.
Huh? What?
Spencer is a good movie.
No,
Superman
no.
and Lois is a good show.
Whoa,
I
who
like
the
that
hell
take,
said
Eric.
that?
I like that one. There you go.
Superman and Lois
is a good show.
I've never seen Spencer or was Kristen Stewart's campaign manager.
Spencer was
A
Jesus.
masterpiece. I filled it in for you.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, gentlemen, this is not the Academy Awards post show. That comes later. But
I'm sorry. That one. That
comes later. Kristen Stewart gave an all-time fucking performance in Spencer.
do you feel
Eric Holzman does not understand high cinema.
I said.
Well, now
She
you
was
sound
good.
like a member of the cult.
On the other hand, Zeddy has exquisite taste in this side of Chicago.
Nico, are you Bane or are you the character from
Nobody
Iron
knows.
Man 3? The Ben Kingsley character from Iron Man 3.
Oh, Slattery.
Slattery.
Yeah.
Trevor.
I'm whatever you want me to be, Mr. Super Secret Josh.
He's wrong about Spencer. That's what he is. He's wrong about Spencer.
It's just because
Oh,
Kristen
man.
Stewart is on his list. Let's call it what it is. Come on.
It's not. It's now. We'll talk after. We'll talk after.
Okay. So, Mr. Post-credit scene, Mr. Minuteman, Mr. I'm always around. Javi, where can everybody
Minuteman.
find you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
if it's
Minute
a
Man,
compliment
that's a
or
good
what,
one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Yeah. And how do you know
Compliment
that?
back to the
Continue, man.
Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
fantastic soldiers.
There we go.
It was not a
Just like
political
it says-
statement whatsoever.
Political statement.
On Twitter, I'm at Javi True. On Instagram, I'm The Bond Is Not Enough. I just did 2 Spider-Man podcasts tonight for the Spider-Man Crawl Space. Regular contributor to BOF, the Batman on Film, covering Robin, Batman the Knight, Batman One Dark Knight, Batman Catwoman, and probably some other things I'm forgetting. Contribute articles to the JamesBondDossier.com reviewing the Dynamite comics. And and I've got a podcast coming out hopefully next month. Knock on wood. Got 5 in the can with my son and I. We're taking over Amazing Spider-Man classics from some fine gentlemen and starting over from scratch with my high school age son reading them for the first time.
That's
That's
cool.
So
That's so freaking
look forward to
cool.
that next month. We'll have a date very, very soon.
I'm so excited to check it
Yeah.
out. Oh man, that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to hanging out with you, Javi, next weekend.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
So excited. A week from today.
I know, man.
That's
Look
awesome.
at that.
It's exciting.
Yes.
All righty, Carusos. Where can everybody find you guys?
You can find me at N Caruso Jr. on Twitter. And we also do a great podcast with our good friend, drummer Rob Meyer. It is on the greatest rock band of all time, Kiss.
Damn right.
3 generations of Kiss fans, me, this guy to my left, and Rob, right between the eyes podcast. Give that a listen. If you like Kiss, you'll love it. If you don't, you'll learn to like them.
Damn right. You can follow me everywhere at Nikko Caruso, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, doing some film reviews on TikTok as well. If you're really eager for some early Batman thoughts, check out TikTok Monday night because that's when we'll have some thoughts out there. You could also follow, like Eric beautifully plugged, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition. That's at Italians 4, the number 4 Spidey, that we do with a really good friend, Mr. Peter Vera, as well, who's in the comments tonight. And come find me, come talk to me, come tweet at me right now. After the Batman comes out and I'm done exploding hype from that, I'll be in my I will retake my role as Kristen Stewart's Oscar campaign manager as she tries to win at the end of the month. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, just tweet at me. I love to respond. I'm always hyped. I'll never argue unless it's with Eric Holzman. Amen.
Well said.
Turn
well
up.
said.
Yeah.
All right, so well, you guys can follow me on Twitter at NickZenic, but most importantly, I would like you guys to follow the show at Vigilante1939 on Twitter. As I already said, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment down below once the video is over. Thank you to the comment section again. You guys were awesome. Thank you to everybody on the screen for spending your Friday night with us. You guys were awesome as always. And the Batman's here. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy it. We hope it's great. And next step is can't wait to talk about it with everybody. So that's going to be a whole nother thing. So the Batman is coming. It's not coming. It's here. And that feels an awfully damn good to say. So I think that's where we're going to end it. So for everybody on the screen, justice. The answer is justice. Thank you, everybody. Good night.